Hi, it's Tony Marino, host of the super popular Newsmax Daily podcast, a rundown of the day's top headlines and top highlights of Newsmax shows and interviews you may have missed, plus some sports, stock markets, and even some yucks, all packed into about 20 minutes. Search for the Newsmax Daily with me, Tony Marino, on your favorite podcast platform, and check out our entire lineup of great podcasts, including Greg Kelly, Rob Carson, and Jerry Callahan at newsmax.com/listen.
Now, you are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, Ranking Member, for holding this hearing today and inviting me to be a part of it. I'm looking forward to discussing the worldwide threats that this country faces and the work that President Trump and his administration does each and every day to make America safe again.
Yeah.
I'm very privileged and honored today to have my family with me. I'd like to introduce them to you.
Disruptions of congressional business is a violation of law, is a criminal offense under federal law. Audience members are advised to take their seats and maintain order. The chairman may now ask Capitol.
Okay, another typical leftist temper tantrum. Today in a hearing, Kristi Noem talking about how the DHS is kicking ass. They shut down the border that the Democrat Party and Joe Biden had opened wide open to 20 million people so they could bring in people to load them up on free stuff and get them to vote Democrat and wreck the country. Yeah. And so some dumb, careful, Rob, guy dressed up like a cardinal, like a Catholic cardinal, like they didn't, let this jackass get past security, stands up and goes, "Stop ICE raids, the power of Christ compels you." Oh. I told you they die like movie vampires. The left, the Democrat Party, they die like movie vampires. They're little children. They do naked bike rides in front of the ICE office in Portland. They're like stupid little children who are in the grocery store and you say no to a candy bar, so they lay down on the ground and they throw a temper tantrum and they scream. My God, you people! You're honestly, it would be a lot easier if you just went to hell. Okay, without all the dragging, kicking, and screaming. Just go to hell. How about that? Just go to hell. Here's, this is really good. Benny Thompson is a Democrat. Now, if you know this a couple weeks ago, 2 National Guardsmen were shot by an Afghan national who was brought in unvetted by Joe Biden. He drove across the country to kill National Guard soldiers because the Democrat Party has been saying that the National Guard soldiers and ICE and whatnot are Nazis. Yeah, that's why he did it. That's part of it. He's also a terrorist, radical Islamist. And one of the soldiers, 20-year-old, died. She was 20 years old and she died. And here is Benny Thompson talking about the shooting of a National Guard, 2 National Guardsmen, one of them dying. Listen to what he says it was.
What you did. Madam Secretary, you and the gentleman from NCTC reference the unfortunate accident that occurred with the National Guardsmen being killed.
Okay, let's go ahead and hear that again. Okay, I want you to let it settle in here. That the left, who has been waging a civil war on us for a decade, with a casualty count and a cost in the billions, and now 2 soldiers have been shot. One of them died, meaning our soldiers, one's been killed, one's been profoundly injured. So now we know we're in the middle of a war, all right? But let's listen to what he said again about the soldiers being shot in cold blood.
And the gentleman from NCTC reference the unfortunate accident.
An accident.
That occurred.
Unfortunate. Now listen to this.
Being killed.
You think that was an unfortunate accident?
I mean,
it was a terrorist attack.
Wait. Look, I'll get it straight. Then you can
He shot our National Guardsman in the head.
Look, Mr. Chairman, will you direct the witness to allow me to ask my question?
To ask my question?
It was an unfortunate situation.
No, it was an unfortunate situation. So there he knows that he stepped in it. He knows he does something. I mean, we got to hold him to the fire on this one. Unbelievable. Calling the murder of a National Guard troop and the injuring of another one an unfortunate accident. And then she calls him out on it, and then he goes after her like, will you let me talk? Let me ask my question. Oh, my God in heaven. Wow, just wow. Then this jackweed, this disgrace to Congress. Honestly, if the founding fathers were either party, well, the GOP wasn't around back then, but either party, even 50 years ago, would look to what he said and said, my God, what an outrage that an American politician, a member of Congress, would say such a thing. And the thing is, this dumbass is so stupid and without shame that he doesn't even realize what he said, and he will feel no shame about it. Unbelievable. And then he says he calls for Kristi Noem to resign. This is hilarious because Kristi Noem was kicking butt as a DHS secretary, shutting down the abuse that the Democrat Party has perpetrated on our country, including hundreds of thousands of children being trafficked for sex and labor, and women being trafficked for sex, and hundreds of thousands of people died of fentanyl poisoning, and Donald Trump is stopping the flow of fentanyl, and Donald Trump is stopping. He shut down the bloody border. All of the destruction, all of the damage, all of the chaos, all of the nonsense that never needed to happen, all of the bodies, all of the suffering, she stopped it. And this fool wants her to resign.
But you have systematically dismantled the Department of Homeland Security, put your own interests above the department, and violated the law.
What the hell are you talking about?
You are making America less safe.
Continue.
So rather than sitting here and wasting your time and ours with more corruption, lies, and lawlessness.
There's no corruption, there's no lies, no lawlessness. That all happened when Joe Biden was the president.
I call on you to resign.
Oh, sure, yeah.
Do a real service to the country and just resign. That is, if President Trump doesn't fire you first. I yield back.
Oh my God! I tell you, sometimes you just gotta bite your lip, and you gotta go, wow, just wow. And here, listen to this Democrat Ramlinger Dove. I don't know who this is, but she says, listen to this. Here she is saying that Donald Trump has weaponized the murder of a National Guard soldier and the injury of another by an Afghani who was led into the country without vetting by Joe Biden.
They threw our allies and our military under the bus.
No, we never did. You guys did for years. You destroyed the military with woke nonsense, and you did stupid ads that caused recruiting to drop into the toilet. And right now, many of the National Guardsmen, including the young woman who was murdered, she was being spat upon by Democrats after Democrats called our National Guard troops, who Donald Trump dispatched to American cities to bring down crime dramatically. I mean, dramatically in Washington, D.C., like carjackings down 80%. It's safe to go out at night. You can go jogging again. There are kids in black neighborhoods that they can go out and hang out in front of the house on the stoop and let the kids ride their bikes and everything for the first time in decades. And this woman is saying that we are weaponizing the act of a person who was impacted by the words of Democrats, calling our soldiers Nazis for going into cities to make them safe.
Weaponization of the horrific shooting of the National Guardsmen.
No, it was an unfortunate accident. Benny Thompson just said it was an unfortunate accident. Well, get your stuff together here, people.
Before we had even gathered the full facts, to scapegoat Afghan allies and immigration communities has been repugnant. The administration swiftly suspended asylum decisions, halted the issuance of special immigration visas, and prioritized Afghans for deportation.
Yeah, 100%, because so many of them came in, they were unvetted for things like terrorism ties and links to the Taliban. Are you out of your mind? My God, you people are so morally and intellectually bankrupt, and I'm glad you're spiraling into the pits of hell. You are spiraling into the pits of hell, and it's amazing because every day you take the counter of reason, logic, decency, and you go down that rabbit hole. It is remarkable. It's remarkable to watch. It is absolutely remarkable to watch. And I've said that the Democrat Party needed to reinvent itself or disappear into the dustbin of history. And they're so in the dustbin. They are just in the dustbin right now. They are so profoundly broken. There's no repair. They haven't learned anything. They are so just vile that they don't recognize decency anymore because they have none and they don't have any shame. I didn't want to start the show this way, but Benny Thompson's comments there are so foul, some of the worst I've heard, and it's hard to even quantify a list of the foul things that the Democrat Party has said the last decade, let alone this year. This year, it is honestly, it's breathtaking. It's breathtaking, and it needs to be addressed. They need to be taken down, but at the same time realize they're committing their own suicide, and that's the great thing about it. That's the great thing about it. So we've got a lot of stuff coming up, including great news. I got some great news. Coming up about the economy, about supercharging the economy going into the next year, about drug boats. Oh, I don't know if you know this, but Donald Trump, his military, Pete Hegseth's military, they took over a tanker that was bringing Venezuelan oil out of the country to feed the regimes of China and Cuba. And they said, nah, you're not going anywhere with that. So that's all coming up on the show. New comedy from Jim Gossett as well. Got lots of guests today, including Michael Charbon at the bottom of the hour. So hang on, because this is going to get awesome. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Shake, shake, shake your menorah, put it up with pride. Tell Hamas you can't run and hide. Show all the haters like AOC. You and the squad love the enemy. My menorah has candles, more candles than I can handle. It's displayed on my table to show Hamas we're ready and able. You're out of line, Hamas. You're out of time, Hamas. Israel's win, your loss. You're gonna pay a big cost. You're out of line, don't believe you. Hey, Sleepy Joe, don't believe you. Shake, shake, shake your menorah for the world to see. Israel you're supporting, unlike NBC. Light all the candles, let them shine brightly, because soon Hamas will be history. Excess winning, he is spinning out the drug dealing trade. In the air, bombs are dropping on drug boats. Venezuelans, they are failing to get fentanyl through. And in most every ocean, you'll hear exploding boats, taking out all their drug shipments. But Duro's sad, been hurt bad. Soon he will be overthrown. Bombing boats, their drug boats. More will will be blown up today.
Carson Show podcast is everywhere. Go to newsmax.com/listen for details.
Well, thank you very much. It's been an interesting day from the standpoint of news. As you probably know, we've just seized a tanker on the coast of Venezuela, a large tanker, very large. Largest one ever seized, actually. And other things are happening, so you'll be seeing that later, and you'll be talking about that.
There you go. So Donald Trump yesterday mentioned that the United States military had seized an oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela. You're choking out the communists there, and also in Cuba. This is from Kash Patel today. The FBI and our partners executed a seizure warrant for a crude oil tanker off the coast of Venezuela, used to transport sanctioned oil from Venezuela and Iran. The tanker has been used in recent years in an illicit shipping network supporting foreign terrorist organizations. So there is that. And of course today, outside of the hearing, Eric Schmidt is being approached by the media saying, hey, if you can seize an oil tanker, why don't you just seize the drug boats? You don't need to kill those narco-terrorists.
If you can seize a tanker without killing anyone.
What's that?
If you can seize an oil tanker without killing anyone, shouldn't that have been the way that these fishing boats were also stopped?
Fishing boats? Are you? What?
She called them fishing boats.
What is a fishing boat?
Well,
the drug runners.
The drug runners.
Those aren't fishing boats.
Yeah, but.
Oh my God! Hold on, I gotta hear that again.
You can seize a tanker without killing anyone.
What's that?
If you can seize an oil tanker without killing anyone, shouldn't that have been the way that these fishing boats were also
fishing
stopped?
Fishing boats?
Oh my God!
What is a fishing boat?
Well,
the drug runners.
The drug runners.
Those aren't fishing boats.
Yeah, but.
Wow.
Those aren't fishing boats.
If you can seize a vessel without violence.
Okay. Well, let's talk about Article 2 authority. The President, the Commander-in-Chief, has identified and designated terrorist organizations who are cartels who run drugs.
Wow, she said fishing boats, and she thought she'd get away with that with Senator Eric Schmidt. My God, these people are stupid. I swear to God in heaven. I mean, it is, wow, mind-bendingly awesome. Here is Donald Trump. Oh, by the way, Donald Trump says that they're going to go after Colombia, too, because Colombia is really big for the cocaine. They like to export the cocaine. It's been going on that way forever. And Donald Trump says to the leader of Colombia, you better watch out. You better not cry, because I'm going to totally kick your butt.
No, I haven't really thought too much about him. He's been fairly hostile to the United States, and I haven't given him a lot of thought. He's going to have himself some big problems if he doesn't rise up. Colombia is producing a lot of drugs. They have cocaine factories that they make cocaine, as you know, and they sell it right into the United States. So he better wise up, or he'll be next.
Wise up.
He'll be next, too.
You want to play rough?
Oh, yeah.
Say hello to my little friend.
Boom! See, Americans like it when bad guys get their rear ends handed to them, and the media doesn't get it. I can't believe that woman said fishing boats. Oh, my God. Here's Trump shredding a CNN reporter about the drug boats.
Mr. President, has Secretary Hegseth told you why he hasn't released the video of the second strike?
No, he hasn't told me. I thought that issue was dead.
The issue's over.
You must be.
Time to move on.
Lawmakers are still talking about it on the Hill.
Are you seeing
They're moving on. They want RFK Jr. to be impeached now, and Pete Hegseth to be impeached. Those are the next things. They're like teeing them up the next two innings.
I am Luciana.
Oh, gee, I'm shocked to find out.
The lawmakers are still talking about it on the Hill.
Well, I'll tell you, I don't know about lawmakers. Which lawmakers are you talking about?
Most of the Democrats have been talking about trying to release it.
I mean, the people that you work for, the Democrats?
CNN and the Democrats.
You know you work for the Democrats, don't you? You're basically an arm of the Democrat Party. Thank you very much, everybody.
There you go. Thank you very much. Get the hell out of here. Here's Stephen Miller, the national treasure that is Stephen Miller. My God, this man is amazing. Here is Stephen Miller talking about the oil tanker and the drug boats.
President Trump has directed the Department of War, the Department of Homeland Security, the Department of Justice to prioritize the defense of American lives and borders by taking the fight directly to these criminal cartels and these foreign terrorist organizations.
These fishing boats.
You mentioned today the historic action, an interagency operation involving the United States Coast Guard, involving the Department of Justice, involving the Department of War to seize an illicit oil tanker that is directly involved in funding and financing terrorism. So again, these illicit, ill-gotten financial proceeds from these sanctioned transactions are used to finance murder, mayhem, drug trafficking, and terrorism across the Western Hemisphere and directly in the United States. So these regimes use these ghost fleets, these dark fleets, to evade sanctions and to fund and finance and export terrorism, violence, and death. And President Trump has said, we will defend and protect American lives. And that's what's happening.
And that is what's happening. So suck it, Democrats. You guys are on the losing side of everything. Here is Maduro, the leader of Venezuela. This is real. This is real. He's a little nervous. He's singing. He's singing again. He did like John Lennon a couple weeks ago. Now he's doing Bobby McFerrin. Listen.
Don't worry.
Yeah, there you go.
Be happy.
Oh, my God.
La, 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 la. Don't worry. Be happy.
Oh.
La, 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 la. Just fix, not worry.
I'd be worried, and I wouldn't be happy, because you're about to be blown the hell up. Jim Gossett on the Rob Carson Show.
Excess winning. He is spinning out the drug dealing trade.
Unfortunate accident.
In the air, bombs are dropping on drug boats.
Those poor fishing boats with drugs on them.
Venezuelans, they are failing to get fentanyl through.
Yeah.
And in most every ocean, you'll hear.
What are we hearing?
Exploding boats.
Boom, boom, boom.
Exploding boats.
Bang, bang, bang.
Taking out all their drug shipments. Maduro's sad. Been hurt bad.
Yeah, pretty bad.
Soon he will be overthrown.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Bombing boats.
Bombing boats.
They're drug boats.
Not fishing boats.
More will be blown up today.
Yeah, there you go. And the Democrat Party is on the wrong side of everything. They are truly intellectually and morally bankrupt. I started calling them during the Obama administration. I started using the expression intellectually and morally bankrupt about the Democrat Party. And they really, irreparable. Irredeemable. Honestly, irredeemable. And by the way, a lot of people, including Will Cain yesterday on Fox, are saying what I have been saying, that the Democrats are looking up for the next new thing. Every 2 weeks they come up with something, whether it's Signalgate, whether it's the Epstein files. A couple weeks ago, Epstein files. My God, Donald Trump certainly must have molested children. The Epstein files. Where the hell is the Epstein files today? Where is it? Oh, by the way, a Democrat won the mayor of Miami yesterday. This should have been earth-shattering, a bellwether for the collapse of the Republican Party. Where's the story today? Well, I was right yesterday, and if you don't believe me, listen to the podcast. Take a break and come back. Michael Charbon is next. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. Normally I wake up at 2:30, 3:30, 4:30 in the morning. A couple of months ago, I was awakened by something unusual for a change. The sunrise. I discovered Beam's Dream Powder. I'm telling you guys, it's miraculous. At night, I have a little shake. I use a banana, some ice, some vanilla yogurt, a little bit of milk, and my Beam's Dream Powder. Chocolate brownie flavor. It's really good, by the way. And it makes you sleep beautifully. Beam is a company founded in America, run by people who share our values, hard work, integrity, and they deliver results. Beam's Dream Powder is a healthy nighttime blend packed with science-backed ingredients shown to improve sleep. It's made with a powerful blend of all natural ingredients, reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. So if you've been waiting for the right time to try Dream, this is it. Go to shopbeam.com/Newsmax. That's shopbeam.com/Newsmax. Take advantage of my exclusive offer for up to 40% off. So with my discount code Newsmax, you can get their best-selling Dream Powder for just $39. That's $1.25 per night. So go to shopbeam.com/Newsmax today. That's shopbeam.com/Newsmax today.
The House wants me to testify about Jeffrey Epstein, but I've got lots to cover up, if you know what I mean. They'll ask me about the island, on what went on down there. I could go and tell the truth, but I wouldn't dare. I am dodging subpoenas, and so is my wife. We will try to dodge them for the rest of our lives. We are dodging subpoenas. Comer says we'll fail, because if we keep on dodging, he will send us to jail. We are dodging subpoenas. Could find us in contempt from prosecution. We are not exempt. We are dodging subpoenas because we are afraid.
I trust Pete. My faith in Pete's complete. He's taken out drug boats beautifully. I trust Pete. The critics are never-ending drug traffickers. They're defending. I repeat, blowing up their boats is neat. We got the right man for the job because I trust Pete. Pete Hegseth is a real hero. Proof he did wrong. They have got zero. Good job, Pete. You have pulled off quite a feat. Cutting down the flow of fentanyl. You can trust Pete.
beauty, way to go. That means that song, of course, the only time we play it on the radio here is when we introduced Michael Charbon from the Great White North, Canada, host of the Charbon Report and also frequent guest on Newsmax. He joins us on the Newsmax Hotline. How you doing, my friend?
Rob Carson, I'm doing great. I got to tell you, I was laughing my focus off. I was watching C-SPAN. I was watching Benny Thompson.
Oh, my God.
Try to speak English. I am embarrassed for Americans. Embarrassed.
Well, I'm embarrassed. I'm embarrassed what he said. He said that the murder of a National Guardsman and the injury of another by an Afghan led into the country surreptitiously by Joe Biden was an unfortunate accident, and she had him for lunch. And by the way, that hearing, as it's going, the Democrats are just digging another hole and looking like complete morons, which is what they are, actually.
Well, it's just unfortunate. I mean, sometimes when you lose a race, isn't it more gracious to hug the winner and say, I'm going to try harder, and maybe I didn't get it right? No, they're digging in. And with the midterms happening, I thought it was interesting that Donald Trump says he's going to hit the trail again.
Yes.
He's not going to be president again, but he is going to get Republicans reelected in the midterms.
Well, and Michael, I never take anything for granted, but this talk of a sweep by the Democrats in the midterms is as laughable as Kamala Harris's candidacy. The day that they announced that she had been chosen, not by the voters, but by the Democrat Party, I laughed out loud on the air, and I said there was no way that America was going to eat a crap sandwich. The Democrat Party is giving the United States people nothing to vote for. Nothing at all. They are just contrarian. They're just contrarian. They failed at everything. They're trying. It's always the next thing. Last night, Will Cain was talking about this. I've been talking about this for weeks. The Democrats are looking for the next thing. It's like, if you ever watched, a sitcom like Seinfeld, right? You've seen it, right?
You're wrong, Rob.
Let me finish my thought, and I'll prove you wrong again, because I'm right about everything, and you aren't.
No.
So let me just go ahead and explain. It's not going to happen. But anyway, like Seinfeld, they work. There's a rhythm, and every 2 weeks they come up with something else. Now tell me how I'm wrong.
You're not seeing the light. It's in Texas. There's a light in Texas named Crockett.
Okay, all right. You're pulling my chain. All right.
He is going to change. Oh, my goodness. He is.
Oh, my God.
He's the one that's going to rejuvenate the Democratic Party. Come on.
Now, Michael, did you hear, and I saw this being echoed around the media last night, that the Republican Party, they baited her into running. Because her polling is so bad. I want you to listen to Mike. This is Mike Johnson, Speaker of the House.
Absolutely delighted that Jasmine Crockett is running for Senate in Texas. I think it's one of the greatest things that's happened to the Republican Party in a long, long time. She is the face of the Democratic Party. She and Mom Donnie. Good luck with that. I want her to have the largest, loudest microphone that she can every single day. And we look forward to having that election down there. We are going to elect another Republican senator in Texas. Texas is a red state.
Yeah, it's unbelievable, right?
Well, finally, the Republicans are playing the game that the Democrats have been playing for years.
Yes.
And I think the Speaker saying something like that, and also you're very right in pointing out that there was a little bit of a push. There was some release of some notes and some polls that said she was leading, which urged her to do it.
Yes.
There's not a snowball's chance in hell she's going to get elected in Texas.
Here's what I like, Michael, and I've been saying this for a while, that conservative comedy is ascending because the left can't be taken seriously anymore. And these people cannot be taken seriously. They really cannot be taken seriously anymore. We need to play with them like little cat chew toys. And that's what Mike Johnson just did right there. He's laughing. He's mocking them. Because here's the thing. Democrats are very good about mocking. But the problem is they're intellectually and morally bankrupt. So they are in no position to mock or ridicule anyone because they are more mockable.
But Rob, you have to say one thing. Democrats have started to come over to the Republican side.
Really?
They're starting to see the leakage and starting to see where their policies have failed. I think what has to happen is there has to be a little bit of a conciliatory tone to try and attract some of the Democrats to come over to the Republicans to see the light, but people like Jasmine Crockett is the standard holder of the Paleta, walking backwards with one hand tied behind
now, Michael,
his head.
but who is seeing the light here? I mean, no, Bill Maher has, but he's not in office. I don't see a single Democrat. Can you name a Democrat who's coming to their senses and trying to save their party from this nonsense?
They're having a hard time. It's actually interesting when you watch Rachel Maddow and she starts talking about all these protests. Every protest she identifies as like 20 people who are retired and, have to have hearing aids in because they can't hear what they're screaming. So you kind of have to let those people do what they're going to do. And Jasmine Crockett is going to be the best excuse to vote Republican. So amplify her microphone, and once the other Democrats who really are kin and may have been a little misguided will hopefully see the light. So I think we have to start talking about Democrats hopefully coming over and seeing the reality of what's the best thing for America. And
what I said in 2024, I said 2024 has to be the year that we return to common sense from nonsense. And I said 80% of us believe the country's headed in the wrong direction. 80% of us can come together to save her. And I still believe this nonsensical rantings of the left are an 80-20 issue. They're an 80-20 issue. The transgender stuff is a 95-5 issue. But I do believe there are enough people on the Democrat side, Democrats who aren't in office, who look at the folly of the Democrat Party. And I think that there are some Democrats, I don't know what the percentage is, who actually love the country. It's not a very big percentage, but like I said, I think if the only way they're going to save the party is to come to their senses. And right now I see none of that happening by Democrat leadership in cities, states, and nationally. I guess it's maybe in the populace, they're the only people who could possibly make a difference.
But the Democratic media is propagating falsehoods. It's talking around points that don't make it. They're still talking about Signalgate, for God's sake. I know. Donald Trump has done amazing things. I mean, you've got trillions of dollars coming in, and here you have them talking about Signalgate. No one cares about blowing up boats that are not fishing boats. They don't fly a national flag. I know. And that's, as you and I talked about in one of our previous altercations with, the scenario is if you take the Hubble telescope and take it backwards, you can see everything that's going on. They know exactly what's on those boats.
I know.
So why are they wasting time talking about it?
Because they are fishing for anything. They want anything. They're literally they're fishing for something. They're casting their line, trying to find something. Signalgate. Elon Musk is a Nazi. Donald Trump is a king. Donald Trump shut down the government. Epstein. It was Epstein. 2 weeks ago, he was the biggest thing in the world. Donald Trump was covering up something. Where's the story, Michael? Where's the story today, dude?
I know, but what the story today is that eventually what's going to happen January and February, when they start to see that they're able to keep their tips, keep their overtime, that it's going to happen, and it's going to make a difference. This is a hard time. I was talking the other day to a colleague.
I'll tell you what, can you hold on to that thought, Michael? Hold on to that thought because we have to come take a break. I want you to finish that thought, and I want to talk about a few things Canada after the break, if you wouldn't mind. Michael Charbon, the Charbon Report. We will return after this on the Rob Carson Show.
Even Jay Powell had to admit that inflation was not increasing the way a few months ago he said it had to because of tariffs. He admitted today that essentially he didn't come out and say he was wrong, but I mean, oil has gone from $80 a barrel down to $58 a barrel. And in an age of AI, as you know, those data centers for AI need a lot of energy. The country needs a lot of energy to be producing. At the very least, people driving a car need cheaper energy in order to take their kids to school, to go to the groceries.
The American economy is going to hit light speed in January, and the Democrat Party knows it. That's why they're doing all this caterwauling about nonsense like Kristi Noem needs to resign, et cetera. And they were talking about Ronald Reagan when he took office, GDP being 7%. You ain't seen nothing. You ain't seen nothing. You've never seen $20 trillion invested in a country before. You've never seen manufacturing return. It's going to be historic. That's why I moved here to Washington, D.C. We are going to witness economic and political history like we've never seen before. It is a remarkable time to be an American. Hopefully, this will rub up against Canada, our northern neighbor, and you guys get somebody in office up there who can make Canada great again. Michael Charbon.
Well, Canada is feeling the Trump slump. That's what I call it. And what the Trump slump is this is a precursor to success. This is the hard work that is going to take place now. As every politician who gets elected, you do all your cuts, you do all the heavy surgery at the beginning, so by the time you want to get reelected, people only remember the good things. The good things are going to happen coming January and February. First of all, no tax on tips, no tax on overtime. So
Social Security, bro. Social Security is going to be gigantic.
Of course, all those things are going to have immediate impact. That's going to affect your economy positively.
Oh, bro.
But right now, it's still the Biden BS that's still happening.
100%.
And Canada's feeling it. Canada's still feeling it. But I have to say, I was disappointed that Donald Trump came back to the fore and says, we're going to put 100% tax on potash. Unfortunately, I think Canada has not played hardball yet with the United States in the sense that 95% of all your potash in the States comes from other countries other than the United States. 90% of the 95% of potash comes from Canada. Why would you do that?
Do you maybe think he's doing that so it'll weaken the jackweed you have as your prime minister right now so he collapses next year? Don't you suppose that might be part of it, Michael?
Yeah, but you know what? If I'm holding the keys to the car, you can sit there and cut my car up all you want and tell me you're not going to put gas in it. But without the keys, buddy, you can't drive.
Well, if all you got is potash, you ain't going nowhere because we got everything else. Sorry.
Yeah, I've got 53% of your aluminum.
What, you got bacon? What, back bacon? What the hell?
I've got 20 to 30% of your steel. I'm the number one supplier of your steel. There's a whole bunch of things that
we just fired up a steel plant in Pittsburgh again. Not Pittsburgh, in Pennsylvania this week.
Try and fire up an aluminum plant.
Okay, we can do this. We can try this sword fight, but here's the deal: he's putting pressure on Canada because you got a terrible prime minister, and they need to get a conservative up there. And when that happens, it's going to be great. Let's talk about what else is going on in Canada. I saw that Poilievre was trending yesterday on Twitter a while. What's going on with him?
Yes, Poilievre is still, here we are in Canada, we have a minority government. The Liberals hold a minority government, which means that if they lose one of their policies and they get a vote of non-confidence, Canada will be pushed into another election. Unfortunately, in the last two elections, everybody's been saying that the Conservatives were going to take the reign and we lose back to the Liberals. It's like Groundhog Day.
I know.
So, I'm not quite sure if it's time for a new progressive conservative or we really got to get a little more attuned to going out there and talking to the public and appealing to them. The conservatives.
No, we just need to make you guys our 51st state. That's really what's going to do it.
That is so impolite. You know that's never going to happen. We work together, but that's
It'll
not
be the Puerto Rico 2. Cold Puerto Rico. Frigid Puerto Rico.
You know, Rob, we even eat turkey at a different time. We have Thanksgiving 2 weeks before you guys.
All right, let's. I want to talk about this Saskatchewan lady who and assisted suicide. Glenn Beck is involved in this case. Tell me about what's going on up there.
So this is a time when I have to say, Rob Carson, you were right. You talked about our medical system. This is a situation that highlights the problem in a national medical system. Jolene Van Alstyne has what's called parathyroid gland disease. So she's in constant pain all the time. She can't function. Terrible pain. And so she's trying to find someone in Saskatchewan who could do the surgery. Nobody can do the surgery in Saskatchewan. So the only way that she can get this life-altering surgery is to go to an endocrinologist. Well, no endocrinologists in Saskatchewan are taking on new patients.
Wow.
So she sits there suffering. And it got to the point now, it's been over 2 years that she's been suffering. She applied for MAIDS, which is the medically assistance in death.
Suicide, yeah.
And she's scheduled to have assisted suicide January 7th. Glenn Beck, another respected conservative radio talk show host, not as good as you, Rob Carson, but very good.
Okay, all right.
Glenn Beck realized that this was a problem, and he appealed to doctors in the United States who could help, and he would pay for it.
Oh, nice.
Finally, after this wonderful effort that Glenn Beck did, that the province of Saskatchewan and their health minister got embarrassed and is trying to refer her to, but it's ridiculous that it has to come to that.
I know,
point.
brother.
And again.
Well, you were touting your Canadian Healthcare Center last week. Oh, it's so good. You might have to wait 6 months for a hip replacement, but you can get right in to get your hemorrhoids looked at.
But at the outset of this, I said I'm going to eat crow. Here's the difference, Rob Carson.
Yes. How do you prepare your crow in Canada? What?
This is an anomaly, and this is definitely a problem.
All right,
I
listen.
agree with you.
All right.
But I'm telling you, Rob, if all of a sudden
we got to run.
We're uninsured.
I know, but we got to run. We're out of time, but I appreciate you. Wait, real quick, where can everybody find your work? Go ahead.
TheCharbonReport.com. I'm on Facebook. I'm also on YouTube, and I thank you for this opportunity, Rob Carson. You're a good man.
You're a good man, too. I have a lot of fun with you, brother. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. He is so fun. I love him. Hold on. I'm going to send him a note real quick here. You were fantastic. Thank you so much. This is what I do with all the guests. I always talk to them ahead of time and before time and say, hey, you did a great job and all that. I know I don't have to, but it's just the kind of person I am. How you doing, streamers? Hello, Gary McGovern. Gas $2.68 a gallon in South Attleboro, Massachusetts at the BJ's Wholesale. Yeah, it's $1.60 in Colorado, and it's coming down all over the country. So I filled up for $2.57 or so, $2.58 or something the other day, and when I moved here, it was $3.30. So that's amazing. Hello, Dookie Bear. What is up, Dookie Bear? Talking about insurance. Decided the Part B under Social Security. I still have my husband's work health insurance trying to get me $220 a month. Sat on hold for 2.5 hours, straightened out, never spoke to a person. Well, welcome to the government. They're trying to turn it around. We have potash in the U.S., Brett Cliff says. We have potash. When you smoke pot, that's what happens, right? Isn't that what that is? When you smoke pot, you get the ash? I know it's not. I'm just playing with you. Just playing with you. Let's see here. Let's look over here on the Facebookage. The Rumbly-Roo. Good to see you guys. Let's see what's happening on Facebook's always slow. I got to find Facebook, and I got to do stuff on the Facebook. And nothing against it. It's personally my own problem. It's not yours who stream me on Facebook. You guys are fantastic people. Oh, there I am. Hello, everybody. And who we got watching on Facebook? Hello, Sam Ken Bonner. What is up? And Vicky Stevens. Good to see you. Oh, hello. How are you? Azmatullah Samim. Hello. Glad to have you there. And Jeff Stoner, dude, speaking of potash, Jeff Stoner, love your show, dude. I know you probably get a lot of crap about your name, but I think you're awesome. Thank you.
About 3 minutes.
Thank you. More of the Democrat Party making complete fools of themselves in front of the hearing with Kristi Noem, taking the wrong side of history again. So here's another email. I got it home on the computer. It says here, explore health insurance options. You may qualify for Health Plans of America. Available for individuals with annual incomes under $50,000. Well, they don't know me because I make more than $50,000 a year. Potential eligibility for ACA financial assistance plans may include vision, dental, da-da-da-da-da. And then I look up here and it says here, Webroot blocked it. They say it's spam, it's phishing, it's nonsense. Webroot said, nah, don't go there. That's why I have Webroot. Somebody else might have fallen for it. Webroot takes care of you. Right now, you're going to save 60% on Webroot. The perfect gift for the hardest to shop for person in your life with device identity and privacy protection covered under one subscription. It's a no-brainer. Now 60% off. They stopped this before I could even click on it. That's what they do. Real-time antivirus protection against emerging threats like malware, ransomware, phishing scams, etc. Firewall, and network monitor. Password manager. And by the way, people stay with Webroot. I mean, 90% of the people who have Webroot have stayed with it for over 20 years. Webroot.com/Carson. That's Webroot.com/Carson. Protect yourself, protect a loved one, and stop this nonsense from appearing in your email, because sooner or later they're going to get you without Webroot. Total protection, 60% off. Webroot.com/Carson. Here is Tim Kaine. I'm ashamed to say I live in the state where he's a senator. And he's blaming the Donald Trump for the shootings of the National Guard soldiers in D.C.
These individuals shouldn't have been here. They should have been celebrating Thanksgiving with their families at home rather than patrolling near Farragut Square in Washington. And if those legal orders are withheld, there's something additionally we owe these families in addition to the prosecution.
You jackass. Do you know how many lives have been saved because we have National Guard here in Washington, D.C.? The murder rate plummeted, the carjacking rate plummeted, the rape numbers have plummeted, etc. Honestly, you are a disgrace to the great state of Virginia. You make Virginia suck. And it's too bad because Virginia really kicks butt. It would super kick butt if you weren't the friggin' senator. That you would say such a thing is so utterly, utterly ridiculous. The National Guard is making America safer in cities around the country, and it's not their fault that a Democrat killed one of them and injured another. Hour number 2 of the Rob Carson Show right ahead. Don't go anywhere.
No blind rhetoric.
No talking down to me.
Don't tell me how to think.
Don't tell me how to think. Don't tell me how to think.
I trust Newsmax. Newsmax.
They don't tell me how to think. They let me decide.
Real news for real people.
interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. We have much to get to this hour on the radio program. You know that the woman who was at Cinnamon, who was being, who yelled at a couple Somalis and said some terrible things and all that. Listen, I don't agree with her language, and she was fired from her job. She was goaded into it. I'll explain why here very shortly. I haven't been playing the video. I had a feeling something was going on. I had to, look at my computer. WebRoot performance issues detected. Junk files, view solution. Look at that. So I got WebRoot on the computer. There you go. Cool. Save my computer again. Thank you, WebRoot. Appreciate you. So anyway, we got that coming up. Also, Erica Kirk yesterday talking about the evil of the left and how Charlie Kirk could have his neck blown open by a Democrat who had been fed the line fascist and Nazi and all that about Charlie Kirk and others, and acted out by murdering Charlie Kirk. And the left, of course, celebrated his death. And now they're doing even worse stuff. And I'm just done with them. Just done with them. If I'm downtown, for instance, if I see National Guard, and I see a lot of National Guard here in the D.C. area, and I always go up to them and I say, thank you for what you do. If I see a leftist say anything negative about a National Guardsman, I'm going to get between the Guardsmen and them, and we're going to have a little visit. I'll just put it that way. We're going to have a little visit. Because I'm done with this nonsense and this hearing today on Capitol Hill with Democrats saying that blaming Donald Trump for bringing the National Guard in for the murder of one National Guardsman and the injury of another by someone brought into the country by Joe Biden, who's a radical jihadi who acted on language of Democrats. I'm just done with you. You don't deserve a discussion. You don't deserve to be focused on in any way, shape, or form. You are profoundly broken. Profoundly broken. But before that, I got a new song from Jim Gossett. Because I don't know if you know this, but Ilhan Omar apparently married her brother to bring him into the country, and now Tom Homan is going after him. And I've got the details on that coming up. But this is Jim Gossett about her marriage.
Ilhan Omar married her own brother.
Ew.
So that he could stay. And he wouldn't have to leave the USA.
Here's an idea. How about I marry you? Okay, we're from Somalia. That's cool.
With her brother, she tied the knot. A license got in time.
I notice you're kind of hot.
To avoid being booted out.
But I'm your brother.
It was no doubt.
That's okay, we're Somalian.
A crime. Ilhan Omar, fraud she has committed. But what else is new? Nothing she has said about it's even true. Will Ilhan Omar marry her own sister too?
Yeah, now that gay marriage is okay, she could marry her sister. Yeah, did you realize in Somalia that Ancestry.com is a dating site? Did you have any idea that it's really weird how that happens over there? Rob Schmidt was talking to Tom Homan last night about investigating the marriage of Ilhan Omar to her bro.
That's clearly a deportable offense. Is there an investigation into that?
You know, I just got advised by a fraud investigator the other day on that. I asked the question, who reviewed the file and says, there was immigration fraud involved. The statute
you may kiss the bride. I thought you'd never ask.
Limitation became an issue in the last 4 years when this was...
I have been waiting my whole life to kiss her since we grew up together.
First brought up. Who was president? Who ran DOJ? So pulling the records now, pulling the files.
I saw her at the family reunion and she looked mighty fine.
And we're looking at, but this fraud investigator, who I know personally, one of the best fraud investigators in HSI, Homeland Security Investigations, said there's no doubt he reviewed the file. So I'm running that down this week, matter of fact, and we'll see.
Both of them out of the country. They can have a second honeymoon back in Somalia. Oh, my God, it's so awesome. Here's Rob Finnerty talking about it.
We have this rumor that's been out there for years that Minnesota Congresswoman Ilhan Omar allegedly, reportedly married her brother to get him into the country from Somalia.
Oh, that's the reason. Okay.
Which is a federal crime. Now, she's denied the rumor, but not really. When the White House Rapid Response Team posed the question this week asking if she married her brother, she didn't deny it. She answered the question with another question. But don't you think if there was a rumor out there, say that you married your brother, you might try and get in front of that one? And maybe come out and make
get in front of it, I don't know, maybe behind it.
Perfectly crystal clear that it's not true, that you never married your brother?
Maybe on top of it. What?
No matter what it took, I would make it clear that I never married my brother. I've got two, and we've never been married. So why hasn't she done that?
Because she married her brother. That's why. Here's Rob Finnerty talking about her enormous wealth she's been able to acquire as a public servant. And I'll just go ahead and say it. It's ill-gotten gains.
And does anyone else think that it's just a little strange? No press conference with her brother, denying the rumors, no documentation.
They might kiss.
Nothing. Very odd. It's also very strange that we still have no idea how Ilhan Omar got all that money.
Where did it come from?
How did she get all that money? A Somalian refugee in the 90s.
That's the American dream.
2020, her net worth was right around $65,000. Today, it's over $30 million.
Woo!
It's also strange that she created a program called Feeding Our Future, which mysteriously was robbed of $250 million by Somalian refugees from Ilhan Omar's district.
Weird.
That program lost $250 million, and now Ilhan Omar is worth $30 million. Again, the program lost $250 million, and now Ilhan is worth $30 million.
Yeah, and I'm just going to go ahead and say it. She got some of that money, obviously. Dear God, are you kidding me? Here's a report from Minnesota.
So the 2025 disclosure, first reported by the Washington Free Beacon, shows that the Minnesota Congresswoman and her husband have a net worth between $6 and $30 million, a roughly 3,500% increase compared to 2023.
Must have had a hell of a year.
Free Beacon reporting the couple's financial gains came from her husband's two businesses, a winery in California and a venture capital firm headquartered.
I think we should go to the winery and see how much wine they're serving. I think they're serving about as much wine as those Feed the Kids restaurants in Minneapolis. Zero.
In Washington, D.C.
I would imagine if it's Somalian wine, it's very dry. You open the bottle and pour sand in your glass.
Assets were valued between $5 and $25 million by the end of 2024. In 2023, that number was reportedly less than 1,000. But Omar, a founding squad member, slammed online speculation back in February, claiming she was a secret millionaire. Omar saying, quote, "Since getting elected, there has been a coordinated right-wing disinformation campaign claiming all sorts of wild things, including the ridiculous claim I am worth millions of dollars, which is categorically false."
Yeah, it's true.
Omar went on to say she is a working mom with student loan debt, trying to raise a family while also maintaining homes in Minneapolis and in Washington, D.C.
Yeah. She probably got a couple other houses, too. One might be in the Bahamas. Nobody's being fooled by this. I just want her to go to jail and be deported. That's all. Ridiculous. Tom Emmer from Minnesota, House Majority Whip, talking about this.
Fraud, and more fraud. It seems like every day there is a new discovery of stolen taxpayer dollars in my home state of Minnesota.
People will have to go to jail, including the AG, possibly the governor, who should have already resigned, and the mayor of Minneapolis.
And who is smack dab in the middle of it? The self-acknowledged liar, incompetent, failed governor, and failed vice presidential candidate Tim Walz.
Tim Walz!
But with the world now watching, Walz can no longer hide from accountability. I want to thank President Trump and his all-star administration.
Yeah, he went to Tennessee. He went to Seattle, and he pled his case to a bunch of sycophantic Democrats who don't want to hold him accountable for billions of dollars disappearing while he was the governor under his nose. And there's no way that the AG and the governor didn't see that this was being taken. But he's all defensive now.
This administration, I always have to check myself because
He brings out the worst in me. Thanksgiving night, I'm minding my own business, playing Yahtzee with my relatives, and I get a drive-by slur from him calling me seriously the R word.
The R word, yeah. The R word, yeah. I think you should call you the F word. Felon. Thank you very much. I just came up with that. This is CARE 11 in Minneapolis. Lou Raguse talking about what the federal government's going to do about Timmy.
The agency that oversees the Medicaid program is threatening to withhold money from Minnesota programs unless the state addresses widespread fraud. The Centers for Medicare and Medicaid Services is run by former TV Dr. Oz, who made the announcement. The Minnesota Department of Human Services will now have to give CMS weekly updates on how the state is stopping fraud, freeze enrollments of all high-risk providers for 6 months, confirm all providers in place are legitimate or remove them, and send CMS a...
Cut them off. Cut them all off. Every damn program, every dime of federal money until they find out who did this, hold them accountable. That's it. That's that. They're doing that with SNAP benefits. Now they got to do it with Medicare and Medicaid, etc. On the way, the Cinnabon worker, Crystal Wilsey, she was fired because she's a racist, but it turns out she was targeted by a couple Somalians. Oh, my God, you're so racist, Rob. No, I'm not. And then we're going to have Erica Kirk talking about her husband and how the left want to find his grave so they can defile it. That's how awful the Democrat Party and the left are. That's coming up. This is The Rob Carson Show.
Ilhan Omar married her own brother so that he could stay, and he wouldn't have to leave the USA. With her brother, she tied the knot, a license got in time to avoid being booted out. It was no doubt a crime. Ilhan Omar, fraud she has committed, but what else is new? Nothing she has said about it's even true. Will Ilhan Omar marry her own sister too? Drugs transported by boat, Venezuela. You best take note. Cartels, they're having fits 'cause their men, they were blown to bits. The drug boat, it now resides on the ocean floor. The drug boat, Marco says we're gonna take out more. Yes, their lives are in danger if they take another chance. 'cause drugs we won't tolerate. Shut it down before it's too late. No drugs. A boat that was filled with drugs.
DMC.
Run, DMC. Come on. Victor Davis Hanson.
But everything you said about Tim Walz is correct. Remember when they had that big Madison Square rally that, gosh, right before the election, it was just packed, and Tim Walz said, this reminds me of Nuremberg Hitler gathering in the 1930s. That's all he did, is traffic in fascist Hitler. And he's talking about hypotheticals that people come by and yell retard. I don't know if that's true or not, but I don't know if he's called the police. And he says it could lead to violence.
Yeah, well, calling Republicans fascists, Nazis, and white supremacists has resulted in violence. Calling the National Guard those things has resulted in violence. Tim Walz is just a putrid little man. Just a putrid little man. He has a love affair with China. He's a creep. He's a creep. Just a creepy man. Real quick here, I want to share the story. So the Cinnabon worker, Crystal Wilsey, was shown as a racist. And she got fired from her job at Cinnabon, which is, honestly, this is what you got. You're working at Cinnabon. I mean, you're probably not the happiest person unless you manage or own a Cinnabon. But you're just working at a Cinnabon. You're probably not at a great place in your life. Nothing against Cinnabon. God bless Cinnabon. I love me some Cinnabon. I don't know what the hell you do to make that smell go throughout the whole mall, but by God, you do it anyway. But anyway, here's a little report about that.
I remember you didn't know without your face. You can go and pretend to be 5 different people. I still know who the f*** you are.
The new video reveals that it was the Cinnabon employees who were the victims, and everyone had misunderstood her. In the video, the Somali couple appears to be provoking her on purpose, repeatedly approaching her and even changing outfits to slip back into the store and create a confrontation. In the footage, the Muslim woman, identified by viewers, stands at the counter in a red jacket, constantly moving toward Crystal Wilsey with her phone raised, speaking in a taunting tone. Crystal points at her, stammering in frustration. "You've been here before. You changed your outfit just to come bother me again." Her emotions are clearly breaking down, not in attack mode, but more like someone pushed into a corner and reacting defensively. Meanwhile, the Somali couple keeps pressing her, getting closer, filming in her face, step by step. Every move looks like they're waiting for her to make another wrong reaction. So which version is real? The camera never lies, but it never shows everything either.
Crystal Wilsey, I hope that they do a GoFundMe or something for her, because this is what the left does. They push you and push you until you react, and they take your reaction and use it against you. So I'm going to lean into believing her, and this is what I thought from the beginning, because this is what I'd heard. There you go. So Erica Kirk was out yesterday doing media, and what she has endured as a grieving widow of a great man, They killed Charlie Kirk 3 months ago. The left killed Charlie Kirk 3 months ago, and then they howled like banshees in hell in joy, to the tune that teachers and government workers and professors got fired for celebrating his death. Over here in Old Town Alexandria, there's a place called the Torpedo Factory. It is a group of artists, most of them leftists, a few of them Jewish and conservative, who are terrified of the others. They don't even speak out loud because they're afraid they'll get ruined financially. It's a frickin' ridiculous time. It's a ridiculous place. I'm gonna hold these bastards accountable. And this one guy put up a sign in his window: Charlie Kirk was a piece of crap. But he didn't say crap. Here's Erica Kirk yesterday, because the left, they're wanting to know where Charlie is buried so they can defile his grave.
Can I have one thing? Can my children have one thing? Everything was public. We will be building the most beautiful memorial for my husband at Turning Point USA, and it will be for the world to see, and it will be spectacular, and it will have basically museum style for our Charlie, for my Charlie. But can I have one thing? Can my babies have one thing where we hold it sacred, where my husband is laid to rest, where I don't have to be worried about some secular revolutionary coming and destroying my husband's grave while my daughter is sitting there praying? One thing. This is my husband. Yes, he was Charlie Kirk to the world, and I know so many people love my husband, and I am grateful for that. But this is my husband, and I want to be able to have one thing left that is sacred to our family, to my in-laws, to my babies, and to my parents. One thing.
You know, I went to, with Tony Kennett, to the Heritage Foundation, and I'd never been there before. And the talk throughout the building every day is who's going to be out front protesting and how dangerous are they? That's how bad it is. Homeboys, hillbillies, and Hebrews. It's about time for us to kick some ass. Here is Erica Kirk talking about Candace Owens, who, I mean, honestly, what in the hell is wrong with you, woman? She's, of course, saying that people inside TPUSA executed Charlie Kirk. Candace Owens, you are dead to the conservative movement. That's violent. No, it's not. You are done. You are cooked. You are no longer important. People who listen to you or watch you are fools.
Not have time to address the noise. My silence does not mean that I am complacent. My silence does not mean that somehow Turning Point USA and all of the hand-picked staff that loved my husband and my husband loved them is somehow in on it. We are busy building. And you know what I thought? I thought these people are human. We are all grieving in our own way. And they are trying to find the answer to something that happened that was so evil. They are trying so hard. And I get that. We're doing the same. Anytime we hear a lead or anytime we hear anything, we send it to the authorities. Yeah. Please dig into this. No rock will be unturned. I want justice for my husband, for myself, for my family, more than anyone else out there. So for me, you want to keep telling me to come down while we're building? I don't have time for that. But here's my breaking point on that. Come after me, call me names, I don't care. Call me what you want, go down that rabbit hole, whatever. But when you go after my family, my Turning Point USA family, my Charlie Kirk Show family, when you go after the people that I love, and you're making hundreds and thousands of dollars every single episode going after the people that I love because somehow they're in on this, no.
It's bad enough that the left killed her husband and celebrated his death, but some who are supposedly conservative would twist in their twisted mind. I don't know what is going on. Candace Owens is mentally ill. I can only assume she's mentally ill. I can't imagine that she's sold her soul so much for the audience and for making money. I could be wrong about that, too. It could be a combination of the both. I used to like her show. I used to respect her opinions. Bat guano, man. Bat guano. Coming up, Wilfred Reilly is the assistant professor of political science at Kentucky State University. He is turning the narrative about American slavery and our evil slave past on its ear. He is a remarkable man, and I've been looking forward to this conversation. He joins us on the other side of the break. Don't go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. Normally I wake up at 2:30, 3:30, 4:30 in the morning. A couple of months ago, I was awakened by something unusual for a change. The sunrise. I discovered Beam's Dream Powder. I'm telling you guys, it's miraculous. At night, I have a little shake. I use a banana, some ice, some vanilla yogurt, a little bit of milk, and my Beam's Dream Powder. Chocolate brownie flavor. It's really good, by the way. And it makes you sleep beautifully. Beam is a company founded in America, run by people who share our values, hard work, integrity, and they deliver results. Beam's Dream Powder is a healthy nighttime blend packed with science-backed ingredients shown to improve sleep. It's made with a powerful blend of all natural ingredients, reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. So if you've been waiting for the right time to try Dream, this is it. Go to shopbeam.com/Newsmax. That's shopbeam.com/Newsmax. Take advantage of my exclusive offer for up to 40% off. So with my discount code Newsmax, you can get their best-selling Dream Powder for just $39. That's $1.25 per night. So go to shopbeam.com/Newsmax today. That's shopbeam.com/Newsmax today.
Rent-free, in libs' heads I'm living. The fits I am giving to Whoopi, Sunny, and Joy. Rent-free, I'm occupying. Rosie is lying if she says I'm not in her head. Break free, they simply can't do it. When you get down to it, they have TDS real bad. Hatred, just watch it as it spreads, because inside their heads I live.
%, that's what Kimmel's lost since they put him back on the air. The morons at ABC were too blind to see that about Kimmel no one cares. 85% in a key demo, that is what Kimmel lost. Why do they keep him around? To keep losing ground, still air him no matter what the cost. Sinclair must feel real stupid now. Next star still with regret. 71% wonder where they went. On Kimmel's failure you can bet.
Disney stock was $197 a share in March of 2021. Now it's $122 a share.
Disney must be in panic mode. They'd pull this show if they could. Why did they bring him back? This a funny hack. Suspension should have been for good.
We're eating pickles from the dollar store. Hot pockets from the Dollar General. Chicken wings expired yesterday. We're eating pickles from the dollar store. Hot pockets from the Dollar General. Chicken wings expired yesterday.
Today, Americans are taught when it comes to slavery, America was the worst.
The Atlantic slave trade from Africa to the Americas was different from any other type of slavery.
The United States didn't inherit slavery from anybody. We created it.
American slavery was worse because
the slaves were reduced to property. They were chattel property. No other system of slavery did that except American slavery.
That's complete nonsense.
Wilfred Reilly is a political science professor and author of Lies My Liberal Teacher Told Me.
Generational slavery, like if you're the son of a slave, you're a slave.
that was extraordinarily common. Slavery around the world was slavery.
Slaves in Africa were kept unfree only for a fixed term.
No, is the short answer. Most of the slaves taken by these sort of players would be either kept as slaves for their entire life or, more likely, sold to the whites and the Arabs in 2 years.
Yeah, and by the way, 400,000 slaves came from Africa to America, while 12 million came to the Americas, I should say. I discovered that because I saw this great piece with John Stossel and Wilfred Reilly, and I've been wanting to talk to Wilfred Reilly for a number of years because he's written some great books, and I admire his work, and he joins us on the Newsmax Hotline. How are you, sir?
I'm doing well. Thanks for having me.
Oh, brother, I'm glad to have you on. I used to live in Kentucky, man. I lived in Fort Thomas near Cincinnati. I love me some Kentucky.
Yeah, it's a great state. I'm from Chicago originally. I'm black and Irish, so I'm from the south side of Chicago, and stereotypically. But I moved to Kentucky, and it really is kind of that heartland experience. I live in Frankfort, the capital. Yep. And it's a very pleasant place to live. I mean, the scenery is lovely.
Yeah,
People are great.
If you like bourbon, it's a hell of a place to live. But if you're an alcoholic, the worst.
Yeah. I mean, if you've got an active drinking problem, you don't want to live here. I mean, it's known for horses and social life, and you're expected to participate in the social life.
Absolutely. You know, speaking of Chicago, and I'd love to float this theory by you. You know, you've got Brandon Johnson and you've got Pritzker, and they are both doing everything they can to keep the National Guard from coming into Chicago, which has been a bloodbath since, the Great Society. Decades of murder, the black-on-black murder rate 10 times the national average. And I liken it to George Wallace standing in the schoolhouse door. They are doing the exact same thing. I think that Democrats in these cities want to keep their black population, particularly, uneducated, dependent, and aggrieved. What are your thoughts on that?
I think there's a lot of truth to that. I mean, if you look at these cities, there's a weird thing in cities like Chicago where you have two populations. You have the young, highly motivated people that are there to participate in Chicago or New York, really the global economy. So Groupon is based in Chicago. Yeah. The Merc, the Mercantile Exchange for North America, is in Chicago. Chicago is smaller than New York, but it's larger than Manhattan, which is what people think of as New York. It's, I think, rated as the 9th city in the world or something like that. So if you're in the north side of Chicago, which is where you're going to go as a tourist, you might see like wild kids on the very fringes of the Mag Mile and so on, but it's like being in Tokyo. Like you're in the place where people go. Then there's the other Chicago, which is there's still more than a few Italians, Irishmen, so on, and those groups mostly vote for the Dems as well. But there's a very large black community on the south side that's just those people have been in Chicago for 100, 150 years, so have the ethnic whites, the Latinos. And there's a strong encouragement that they don't leave. There are a lot of things like rent control that are done in those areas. Yeah. And, I think part of that deal is like, you vote for the more than semi-corrupt, like ward-heeling alderman who comes around with turkeys on Thanksgiving. Yeah. And the guy might be a nice guy in some of those ethnic wards, but it's a very, very corrupt deal. And people who don't understand big city politics like Chicago, Boston, New York, keep asking, like, how do they elect those idiots? Like, how did big Brandon Johnson from the teachers union ever get elected dog catcher? And you could sit down with someone over a Kentucky bourbon and explain that system and say, well, you've got to understand, 8% of the population votes in the primary elections in these cities. The young professionals kind of know it's sort of not their place to. I don't know how honest a lot of these elections are, but whatever happens, you get who you get.
Well, Chicago is known for its crooked elections. Dear God, it's a punchline. It's been that way forever. I've been on the planet long enough to know this. I spent a lot of time in Chicago, by the way. That was the first place that I ever flew in an airplane. I was 21 years old. I flew into a radio conference, and I stayed across from the Merc. And Chicago deep dish was my favorite until I went to Manhattan and had a slice, and then I was like, oh boy.
It's a famous competition. New Yorkers will describe Chicago pizza as like a casserole. Like, what are you guys doing? It's a loaf of bread. I mean, that's just one of those like healthy things cities bicker about. But yeah, like the Pizzeria Uno, Pizzeria Do, all those are still going. They're very healthy.
Yeah, and I'll just explain because I'm a cook too. Chicago pizza crust is a hybrid pizza crust and pie crust. It is. If you make it, it's got a lot of butter in it and everything, and you put the cheese on the bottom. That's the thing about that. So, enough about that. I want to ask you this, because I'm curious, and you've written these great books, Wilfred Reilly, about, what's going on. You've got a new book, Imagine Toward a Brotherhood of Man, which I want to get to in the next segment, if you can hold for the next segment.
Okay.
But, they talk about, the Democrat Party talks about reparations, and I contend that they will never get reparations. And the reason why they won't, they know it's not realistic, but they want to tell people of color that they're on the side of paying them for all of they've gone through, making them victims. We've had 30 years now of convincing people of color they are victims in our society. And when it doesn't pass, they can blame the Republican Party as racist for not giving them reparations. That's why they're never going to happen. That's why the Democrat Party uses reparations to separate us. What do you think?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of strategic analysis there that's basically correct. I don't think reparations are going to happen for a lot of practical reasons.
Well, yeah, there's that too.
One of them is that the minorities in the United States are primarily non-black. So because of mass immigration recently, the country is 18% Hispanic.
Yeah.
And the people that are most opposed to reparations are people that say, well, technically I'm ethnic. I might be Caucasian, but I'm Latino.
Yeah.
And I experience more prejudice from blacks or from whites today than a black guy experiences prejudice. I'm just got here from Texas, Mexico. So I'm not voting for this. So I don't really see who the constituency for reparations is supposed to be. I mean, you've got more than 50% support among blacks, barely in a lot of states.
Yeah.
But you don't have any support among whites, and now you have less than zero support among like Asians. So this is just a dream. It's trotted out. One thing about the Democrats, if they ever get below 70% of, say, the black female vote, it's over for the party.
I know it is. Yeah.
You've got to keep making these crazy promises.
I know. That's exactly what I contend. Can you hold through the next break, my friend? I would appreciate it. Can you?
Absolutely, yeah.
Oh, excellent. Wilfred Reilly, assistant professor of political science at Kentucky State University. Yeah, we got a guy who are you officially a conservative? Do you call yourself a conservative, or are you just common sense guy?
Yeah, no, I'm conservative. I'd say conservative.
I know. Hold on.
I'm on the right.
Shock of shocks. A university professor of poli-sci that's a conservative. We'll continue this on the other side of the break. This is the Rob Carson Show.
680 WCBM.
American blacks are at a disadvantage. They have less capital, financial and educational capital. What's the harm in pointing out how abusive white people were?
The harm is that pointing out how abusive white people were is not going to get black Americans any more capital. Most of the problems of the modern black community don't have anything to do with historical ethnic conflict 160 years ago.
The Great Society asked not how much, but how good.
I have been contending for years that the Great Society nuked the black nuclear family. Wilfred Reilly is the assistant professor of political sciences at Kentucky State University, and he's got this new book, Imagine, Toward a Brotherhood of Man. Like I said, I've been saying this about the welfare state, and you obviously agree with that. Tell me your thoughts on what the Democrat Party did.
Yeah, I mean, so I've written a couple things, including lies my liberal teacher told me.
Yes.
And the welfare state, I think that this is one of the big debates between the left and the right as it happens. So, like, the argument on the political left wing is that all problems in the black community come from historical racism, basically. Yes. This is the legacy of slavery, so on. And I think it's pretty obvious when you look empirically at the numbers that that's not true. So when you look at illegitimacy, bluntly, fatherlessness in the black community, this would also be true for working class whites and for Mexican Americans and so on. But when you look at that, I mean, in Walter Williams, great Walter Williams points out in 1938, before World War II, that was about 11, 12%. It was 4% for Caucasians. Today, it's 70%. Oh, yeah. So there's no plausible way to peg that on the historical legacies of conflict with white people or something like that. The Great Society, I'm sure almost all of your audience knows this, but that's Lyndon Baines Johnson, John F. Kennedy, that's welfare programs, the enhancement of the things we already had.
ADC? You get more money the more children you have, and the father cannot be in the house?
Yeah, and I mean, I think that idea, like pay-per-child welfare, is something that sounds charitable, but like there's a very old line in economic books, like if you pay out money for every young cat someone has, it breeds kittens. This literally was a program, AFDC, when I was a kid, where if you had one more child, you received in Illinois, it was about $700 per month. And you had people who were just basically on the dole for years. I mean, this is Reagan half joked about welfare queens. Bill Clinton and Newt Gingrich got together to cut this one program. The flip side, though, is we got about 20 more welfare programs now, which is the argument over WIC and SNAP and EBT and all this other stuff.
Well, you know, I always found it quite ironic that they're reliably in black neighborhoods that are named after civil rights leaders. There's a Planned Parenthood. So there's that too. When you got 70% abortion rate, my God, what has the inner city community fallen for? That having no father and then considering the baby a burden and killing the baby before birth. Those are the main principles that guide a lot of the destruction of the inner city community.
Yeah, I think that's true. And I think it's interesting also living in Kentucky because, without excuses, inner city doesn't, in probably 2/3 of the states, just mean black.
Yeah, I know.
So this is a genuinely big problem. And I mean, I think there are a lot of things that people are very reluctant to talk about. So right now we have this whole debate about the fertility rate, quote unquote. Like in a lot of civilized countries, the rate of fertility, which is the number of children born per year against the number of two-person couples in society, the fertility rate in the USA in the upper middle class is like 1.6. And people keep asking why this is. Like, is this feminism? Is this pornography? Like, and no, that's not helping. But the key reason is that there's one abortion. This is everybody. This is an African-American community. Per, like, 1.5 babies born. So at a certain point, if you are killing, to some real extent, 1 in 2 or 1 in 3 children, you're not going to have a breeding population. This is true animals that eat their young. It's definitely true for humans.
Yeah.
And another problem, of course, would be that men are on the guy's side, men are proposing marriage at an average age of 32 now.
Yeah, exactly.
So on her end, you're not going to be able to have kids.
And by the way, I am not trying to pin this on the black community. I grew up white trash. My brother and sister, my sister and my stepbrother lived in a trailer, having a romantic relationship on our property. Okay, so don't act like I'm trying to pin this all on black people.
There are a lot of great people that live in trailers, for a long period of time.
I know. I just had to flash my white trash cred there.
These are real problems. I mean, this is J.D. Vance wrote Hillbilly Elegy, and people have tried to kind of whitewash this out of existence because it's a very sympathetic discussion of like the multiracial lower class, and now people are trying to say, well, Vance is a murderous Republican. I mean, it's the same thing that happened with Trump, right, where Trump was hosting Comedy Central roasts until 2016, and then all of a sudden, they had to put devil horns on him.
Well, Wilfred Reilly, I appreciate your time today. You've got Lies My Liberal Teacher Told Me, which is a great book. And then a new one, Imagine Toward a Brotherhood of Man, which I can only assume is about coming together. I like to say Hillbillies, Homeboys, and Hebrews. That's the title of my book coming out in the spring. Hillbillies, Homeboys, and Hebrews, How We Came Together to Save America. My generation, Generation X, Uhuru and Kirk had made out 10 years earlier. We didn't think twice about race. And then all of a sudden they made it. With George Floyd, it was 1968 all over again. So we're not as far apart as we seem to be.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely, definitely agree with that. Thanks for having me on.
All right, brother. Thank you very much, and I'd love to have you on again soon. Perhaps when we get the studio up and rolling here in D.C., have an extended podcast, at least an hour with you, because I'd love to pick your brain. You're fascinating, and I appreciate your time today.
Sounds good. Thank you for yours.
You bet. Let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. All righty. Who's talking to us? Glory to God is trending on Twitter. Well, that's a good thing, right? Isn't it? What we got here? Vicki Stevens, what's going on? And Joanne Scheid-Emery. Good to see you guys still talking to each other. Sport Tech and Pat Carr. Hello. Lisa Johnson, what's going on? What? Lisa, you must live in California. The price in Big Sur, $8 a gallon? Are you friggin' kidding me? Dear God in heaven. Stop California importing gasoline. Give the loyal oil businessman an even playing field. Yeah, they got plenty of gas in California under the ground, for God's sake. They do. You just have a lot of idiots in charge there. Rounded Bunny says, my sister had MS and I have arthritis and my hands are killing me. Turmeric. I'm telling you. Turmeric. It's crazy. I'm going to share something. You ready for this? My joints, I have the joints of a 20-year-old. I take turmeric and glucosamine, chondroitin, and collagen. The only thing is I have this thing on my finger. Look at this. This finger. I hear this is common. I'm going to have to get that fixed. What do I do about that? Do you know what I do about that? I'm thinking about laying it on the counter, ball peen hammer, boom! Would that do it? Would that do it? Anyway, that's the only issue I have. Otherwise, look at this. Look at this. Nothing. Listen, I can't crack my knuckles. Do you hear anything? You hear anything? No. My joints are freaking amazing. I'm stronger than I was when I was 40 and 30, for God's sake, and 50, by far. Stronger. I never thought it. I never thought about it. And I started returning to free weights after a decade apart, maybe 15 years from free weights. And I'm doing free weights, and the guys at the gym are like, who is this guy? Who's this guy twice my age kicking ass over here? All right, I got to talk.
I bet 350 here.
350. I want to have Wilfred Reilly back on. He's a fascinating guy. Lies My Liberal Teacher Told Me. I got that. There was a piece that he did with John Stossel that was really cool, and I'm really glad I got him on. Apropos of nothing, it just was a fascinating conversation. A lot of politicians like Benny Johnson. Benny Johnson's getting cold. Benny Johnson is such an ass. He is trending on Twitter because he said that the murder of a National Guard soldier and the injury of another in Washington, D.C. was an accident. He said it was an accident, a tragic accident, and he's getting his rear end handed to him. What What a bizarre and sickening thing to say. And the Democrat Party are making fools of themselves on Capitol Hill, grilling Kristi Noem. Kristi Noem is having their rear ends for lunch. She's going to have to floss when she gets done with these fools. Anyway, for every $5,000 of gold you purchase from Birch Gold, I should say invest in gold, they're going to give you an ounce of silver and gold just in time for the holiday, the Christmas holiday, and Hanukkah, if you give gifts on Hanukkah. How about that? How about one of the gifts be an ounce of silver from Birch Gold? You're going to invest the money anyway, right? Right now, price of gold today is $4,200. A couple weeks ago it was $4,000. If you had 10 ounces of gold, you would have made $2,000. What did your 401k do the last 3 weeks? Nothing. There you go. What'd your crypto do? I don't know. I don't have any crypto. Okay, well, neither do I. So anyway, right now, like I said, if you just get in touch with Birch Gold, all you got to do is text my name, Rob, to 989898. That's how easy it is. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. And you can get the ball rolling, get eligible, get information about investing in gold. And if your 401k or IRA are not performing well, or you got some cash you want it to grow, because savings ain't going to pay you. D word for Richard. Just text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold. Here is Kristi Noem being visited, questioned by Representative Sri Tanadar, and he says that you need to be fired, whatever. And she said, I look at you asking me to resign as an endorsement because you're such a fool.
Competence and your inability to truthfully carry out your duties of Secretary of Homeland Security. If you're not fired, will you resign?
Sir, I will consider your asking me to resign as an endorsement of my work.
There you go. Because the Democrat Party hates that Kristi Noem is doing a really, really great job as the Here is Benny Johnson with his, Benny Thompson, not Benny Johnson, with his comments about the National Guard murder in Washington, D.C.
What you did. Madam Secretary, you and the gentleman from NCTC reference the unfortunate accident that occurred with the National Guardsman being killed.
You think that was an unfortunate accident?
I mean,
it was a terrorist attack.
Wait. Look, I'll get.
Listen to him trying to walk it back.
Get it straight. Then you can.
He shot our National Guardsman in the head.
Look, Mr. Chairman, will you direct the witness to allow me to ask my question?
Yeah, I want to ask my question.
It was an unfortunate situation.
Unbelievable. Ooh. Yeah, he's getting his rear end handed to him today, and he should, because he is a damn disgrace. There you go. A damn disgrace. He doesn't even deserve coal. And Democrats wouldn't want coal because it's fossil fuel. You know, whatever. Coming up, we got another hour of the show. 8 in 10 households headed by Somali refugees on welfare in Minnesota. Oh, yeah, they're productive Americans in Minnesota. More on the scandal there, among other things, in the final hour of the radio program. Also, Emily Sturge, Campus Reform. Ooh, it's going to be good. Don't go anywhere.
Now,
You are about to hear the most interesting, informative, thought-provoking, and funny show in America. On air and on the World Wide Web. This is the Rob Carson Show.
This is the Rob Carson Show. Hello, hour number 3 of the show today. I'm doing show prep as we speak, because I never stop. I never stop doing show prep. I'm always finding something new, and this morning I even changed the show before I started because of the testimony of Kristi Noem on Capitol Hill and how the Democrats are making complete fools of themselves. Benny Thompson saying that the murder of a National Guard soldier and the injury of another was an unfortunate accident. I mean, honestly, how broken are you that you would say such a thing? And, of course, the Democrats are putting the pedal to the metal on stupid. This is Tim Kennedy trying to blame Kristi Noem for chaos in New York City.
The officials' assessment that the United States has been operating in a heightened threat environment for several years now.
Yes.
Yes or no? Would you say New York City is susceptible to these kinds of security threats?
Yes, and that's why.
Yeah, because you see, 24 years ago, some terrorists flew a couple of planes into a couple buildings, and they fell down and killed 3,000 people. And then about 6 years before that, they drove a truck bomb into the basement of one of those buildings and tried to blow it up.
They should spend.
So with New York City
$440
being the number one terrorist target in the nation,
the federal government gave them
with New York City being the number one, I reclaim my time. With New York City being the number one
They're trying to filibuster us.
threat in this nation, it's unconscionable that you would cut $134 million in urban area security initiative funding for the city of New York. What compelled you to knowingly make our cities less safe with these funding cuts?
What compels you, your mayor, and your governor to release thousands of criminals on the streets rather than to turn them over to ICE? You'd rather release
Secretary Noem,
a murderer out on
Yeah, they just released 7,000 felons into the streets of New York City, honestly. And one of the reasons why the cuts are happening is because you guys did such a lousy job, such an absolute lousy job with our money. There you go. There you go. This is kind of interesting. Steve Deese, he's from Iowa, and he's also with the Blaze, and he was commenting about the open border and why it happened. And he's not going to tell you anything you didn't know. But it is nice to know that we were right.
Non-citizen Social Security numbers issued during the Biden administration: 270,000 in 21, over 590,000 in 22. Over 960,000 in 23, over 2.1 million in 24. Gee, I wonder why that escalated so much in 24. Because what are you probably more likely to legitimately be able to claim if you've got a Social Security card?
Citizenship voting.
By the way, that's more people. The Biden administration gave more non-citizens Social Security cards in 4 years than live in our home state of Iowa. If we just took the amount of people they gave those to in 2024, that's more people than live in Nebraska, Idaho, West Virginia, Hawaii, New Hampshire, Maine, Montana, Rhode Island, Delaware, South Dakota, North Dakota, Alaska, D.C., Vermont, and Wyoming. It would be the 39th largest state in the union. Just the amount of people, non-Americans, they gave Social Security cards to last year.
That is crazy. By the way, more than 8 in 10 households headed by Somali refugees in Minnesota are on some form of taxpayer-funded welfare. Center for Immigration Studies reports it shows drastic disparities between native-born American households and Somali-born households in Minnesota. Nearly 80,000 residents have Somali ancestry compared to 0 who had ancestry in 1990. They all came in after 1990. 81% of Minnesota households headed by Somali refugees, one form or more of welfare, including 27% who are on cash welfare, 54% are on food stamps, 73% on Medicaid. Now, when you look at native-born Americans residing in Minnesota, only 21% of whom are on some sort of welfare, including just 6% who are on cash welfare, 7% who are on food stamps, and 18% who are on Medicaid. 89% of Somali-headed households with children in Minnesota are on one or more forms of welfare, as 86% are on Medicaid. 62% of Somali households with children in the state are on food stamps. 23% take cash welfare. Only 3 in 10 native Minnesota households with children take one or more forms of welfare, including 6% on cash, 10% on food stamps, 28% on Medicaid. Wow. Yeah, they're really taking to the cleaners up there. You're a racist, Rob Carson. No, I'm not. Shut up. As far as the Somali refugees who are in or near poverty in Minnesota surpasses 66%. Fewer than 2 in 10 native-born Americans live in poverty in Minnesota. 0.7% of native-born Americans in Minnesota speak English less than very well. Almost 60% of Somali refugees say they do not speak English very well, so they're not assimilating, they're just taking money from the state. And if you look at the lifetime contribution per immigrant, according to the IZA in the Netherlands in 2024, North Americans' lifetime contribution is 473%, a net positive of $573,000 to whatever the country they live in. Japan, $525,000. The UK, $481,000. When it comes to lifetime contribution per immigrant in society, the Sub-Saharan African, $730,000 negative. Middle East, $624,000 negative. Caribbean, $675,000 negative. And Somalians in their lifetime, negative $1.1 million. You're a racist, Rob Carson. Yeah, shut up. Here is Bernie Moreno grilling somebody giving testimony for Congress about Biden's open border and trying to argue like it wasn't intentional.
Do you stand by that that's a false statement that Biden didn't let in terrorists and criminals?
Well, I certainly think that the Biden administration tried to prevent those individuals from going in.
That's a lie.
And
They tried to prevent those people coming in by letting tens of millions of people cross our border illegally?
Well, I don't think that the Biden administration was letting people cross illegally. It was clearly struggling with massive amount of undocumented, irregular migration flows, among which criminal individuals might very well have been present. But I do not believe that the Biden administration simply allowed them to enter.
Oh, you're so full of crap. There's corn floating in your eyes.
Gotcha. So it's just coincidental that tens of millions of people cross our border during their administration and zero have crossed now since Trump. That was just completely by happenstance and coincidence?
No, I don't think that was by happenstance.
Well, then, do you stand by that that's a false statement that Biden didn't let in terrorists and criminals?
Yeah. Unbelievable. This is Jim Gossett having a happy Somali Christmas.
Have a holly Somali Christmas. Millions you can steal.
Get lots of freebos from.
They stole a ton, nothing was done.
Santa Walls.
Hey, Tim Walls, what's the deal?
Yeah, big fat Santa
Have
Walls.
a holly Somali Christmas. And in case you didn't hear,
booty booty boo.
Oh, by golly, have a holly Somali Christmas this year. Ilhan Omar, she's in on the theft.
Married her brother.
It's another reason you can't trust the left. Have a holly Somali Christmas. Tim Walls, let it take place. Oh, by golly, Tamp and Tim will never, ever save face.
There you go. That is Jim Gossett. If you want to help him out, go to patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy. That's like Christmas song number 15 so far this season. The guy is a genius. Patreon.com, Jim Gossett Comedy, if you would help him out. It's interesting because we know that in states like Illinois, if you're an illegal and you go to get medical treatment, you're going to be the hospital will be reimbursed twice as much. Your treatment is going to be better. You get free daycare and all of this. Same goes with California. Same goes with New York. While Joe Biden was the president, while we were screaming as the southern border was open, and they said, "Oh no, it's completely sealed," and they lied to us. And really, it was a hostile takeover of the country. It was an invasion, an illegal invasion of the country. The Democrat Party welcomed it into the country. They should be held. They should be imprisoned for what they did, allowing our enemy to come into. It was as treasonous as it becomes. This is why the Alejandro Mayorkas should be lined up against a wall. I'm not kidding. He lied to us and he allowed people to come in. It resulted in the deaths of thousands. It resulted in the sex trafficking of children. He deserves the ultimate punishment after a trial. And then in California, I don't know if you knew this, but yeah, they actually treat illegals better. They get prioritized for tuition, in-state tuition, before American students. Listen to this.
California Democrat politicians have now enacted a new rule that treats citizens worse than illegal immigrants and gives discounts for tuition to illegal immigrants over citizens here in the United States. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman.
You know why? Because if you give them lots of free stuff, they will vote exclusively Democrat forever.
I'm going to reform California and a California state representative, and I think this is completely unfair and offensive. I was contacted...
Plus, they can get away with it by lying about it and covering it up.
...last week by a student wishing to enroll in a California university. And they were told that they have to pay...
See, if they went on the air and they said, we will give you in-state tuition if you vote Democrat to American citizens, that would be illegal. That would be illegal. So what they do is they just give it to illegals, and the illegals know that it's coming from Democrats, and they come from hellhole countries. So anything they get, the welfare state in this country is like winning the lottery if you're coming from Somalia. So you know they're going to go vote Democrat.
Tens of thousands of dollars more in tuition than if they were an illegal immigrant.
Yeah.
Because illegal immigrants have been given in-state tuition discounts, even though they're not eligible for them. Whereas citizens from other states are charged substantially higher rates.
Yeah.
He explained his father fought for freedom. He is a veteran, and yet his son cannot get the same treatment as an illegal immigrant.
Wow.
He's quipped that maybe he should try to go to Mexico and then enter California illegally. Would that get him a discount? Sadly, no. That's why in the state legislature, I'm fighting to make sure that citizens are our priority, not people here illegally. And
Steve Hilton, who's running for governor, he had some comments on this. I'll share that on the other side of the break. Let's take a break, shall we? This is the Rob Carson Show.
Who's ruined his state. Now he wants our children to self-mutilate. His policies are disgusting and lewd. And now he says schools have to include tampons in the boys' room. Tampons in the boys' room. Tim Walz and Kamala, a couple of fools. And everybody knows that liberals want to ruin schools. Tim allowed his cities to be burned by BLM. Criminals, illegals, they can count on Tim. His uniform, Tim was disgraced. He really crossed the line the moment that he placed tampons in the boys' room. Tampons in the boys' room. Tim Walz is a commie. Kamala is too, and everyone should know the damage that these two could do. Well, he's a turncoat, he's a traitor, a sour grapes Trump hater. He had the goods on Joe Biden. The evidence stayed in hiding. He's the left-wing media's overweight star. Ooh, I hate Bill Barr. Can't stand Bill Barr. I am not sold. The truth about Jeffrey Epstein and Bill Barr has not been told. It was bizarre. Did it go too far? Oh, I hate Bill.
CBM.
The most useless governor in America. Look at the facts. We have the highest unemployment rate, the highest poverty rate, housing costs, gas prices, electric bills, homelessness, you name it. Gavin Newsom's California is the worst, the most useless governor in America. Has he been doing anything to try and clean up any of this mess that he made? No. Or to clean up here in the Palisades? The most useless governor in America has been spending $300 million of our money on his election rigging scheme to try and make himself president. Well, it's not going to work. And it's not going to work here in California because the fight back starts now. We are going to end one-party rule in California. We're going to defeat this corrupt.
I'm going to have to because, I don't know, man. He's never going to be the president, by the way. He's a soy boy. I mean, worse than a soy boy. Here he is. He's doubling down on the trans for children thing, which is just so disgusting. I mean, honestly, drop in from 10 years ago and say that, hey, you know what? I think that children should be mutilated sexually and given drugs to stop their puberties because they think they're the opposite sex. They'll be eunuchs for life, not able to perform sexually, achieve orgasm, have children. And even when they're 12, they can make this decision. Young girls can get healthy breast tissue removed so they can never breastfeed and have their ovaries removed. Young boys can have their penises removed. Young girls can have a faux penis fashioned from the flesh of their arm or leg, fastened to their scrotum, or I should say their nether regions, like an ear waiting to be reattached. Yeah, Gavin Newsom's down with that.
So we didn't get into trans sports. That's an issue no one wants to hear about because 80% of the people listening disagree with my position on this. But it comes from my heart, not just my head. It wasn't a political evolution. It was
position being that
I don't think it's. I want to see trans kids. I have a trans godson. There's no governor that's signed more pro-trans.
Are you sure it's a godson?
Legislation than I have, and no one has been a stronger advocate for the LGBTQ.
Disgusting human being. What a slimy scumbag. Dear God. Hey, you know, the price of gold, about $4,200, $4,200. It's been going up, up, up. Thank you very much. I've told you this time and time again, this time last year, gold about $1,600, or let me see, $2,600. It was up to $2,225 yesterday. It's about $22 now. It was $2,000 a week, 2 or 3 weeks ago. It was $3,000. You know, so if you had 10 ounces of gold, you would have made $2,000 in 3 weeks' time. But you wouldn't have sold. You would have said, nope. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. Keep it going. This meteoric rise of gold. Keep it going. Well, if you haven't gotten on the train yet, I would suggest that you finally text my name, Rob, to 989898 for Birch Gold, because right now they're going to throw in some silver when you get gold. $5,000 invested in gold. It's just taking $5,000. You're going to invest, or maybe you haven't invested somewhere else, or maybe it's in savings, and you're saying, let's grow this. Let's get going here. Rob Carson told me last year, and it gave, $1,000 an ounce, for God's sake. Maybe I should do something. Or $800,000 an ounce. Unbelievable, though. Text my name, Rob, to 989898. You're going to be eligible for free silver, $5,000 invested. You get a free 1 ounce of silver, which has gone up 60% too. Great as a Hanukkah gift, great as a Christmas gift, great as a stocking stuffer, great as a Advent calendar gift. Great to just keep and watch grow. Watch grow. Text my name, Rob, to 989898 to claim your eligibility for this offer. And they make it easy for you. They do all the paperwork. You just give them some information. They do the heavy lifting, and boom, there you go. Offer ends December 22nd. Text Rob to 989898. Jasmine Crockett is running for Senate, and apparently the Republican Party goaded her into running. They convinced her through surreptitious ways, I don't know, whatever, polling or whatever. We don't have the whole story on it, but they want her to run, and she is now running, and this should be a lot of fun.
Mondami has not backed down whatsoever from his rhetoric against the president. In the Oval Office, he stood there and he said what he said about him being a fascist, yet he was able to win those voters. So Democrats that believe the only way that you can win is by being soft and sounding like a Republican, that is not true.
No, go left.
She ain't never scared and she ain't never been. Who is willing to go toe-to-toe against the president? I can't wrap my head around someone who votes Republican. She advocate for feeding kids. They protect folks touching them. And they only trying to scare out of running.
He's not a very good rapper. He's not. I know a lot of hip-hop. I like to listen to some hip-hop. I like the old school stuff. He just sounds kind of stupid. That's racist. No, it's not. Shut up. Here is a GOP ad. They've already got the ads going because they were ready. They want her to run. And here's a new ad for us, Jasmine Crockett.
I challenge somebody to go and find a clip of a Democrat invoking violence.
Let's extinguish him for good. I will go and take Trump out tonight.
We're going to fight it in the courts, and we're going to fight it in the streets.
When they go low, we're going to bury them below the Capitol. That's what we're going to do.
We take them to the mud and choke them out.
You know, there needs to be unrest in the streets for as long as there's unrest in our lives.
I just don't even know why there aren't uprisings all over the country. Maybe there will be.
We're walking down a damn different
Let's go to the end here.
See anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station. You get out and you create a crime.
There you go. That's good. That's good. That's good. Mm-hmm. Here's a little bit more of who is running for Senate in Texas.
Attitude over brain power.
Yeah.
Turning Texas blue is what I want to talk to y'all about today. Now, there are those that say, ain't no way, we done tried it 50 kinds of ways. Let me
talk to me, Geraldine.
Be clear, y'all ain't never tried it the JC way. We used to telling us what I can't do. But they have no idea what Crockett's crew will do.
Crockett's crew.
They tell us that Texas is red.
He is.
They are lying. We're not.
No, you are.
Reality is that most Texans don't get out to vote. By now, I'm sure you have heard the good news. Yes, good news coming out of Texas. I know you are not used to good news coming from Texas.
Well, that's not a bad thing about Texas there.
Let's show the world why Texas will be on the map finally for something good. There was someone who came along
Texas again there.
and inspired me. There was this charismatic, funny, intelligent, and exciting young candidate with a funny name who just got into the U.S. Senate and was running for president. Yes, I'm talking about President Barack Obama. Who
didn't achieve anything, and his signature legislation, Obamacare, has turned out to be a massive scam. A massive scam and a lie. Emily Sturridge, Campus Reform, joins us on the other side of the break. Do not go anywhere. Hey guys, it's Carson. Normally I wake up at 2:30, 3:30, 4:30 in the morning. A couple of months ago, I was awakened by something unusual for a change. The sunrise. I discovered Beam's Dream Powder. I'm telling you guys, it's miraculous. At night, I have a little shake. I use a banana, some ice, some vanilla yogurt, a little bit of milk, and my Beam's Dream Powder. Chocolate brownie flavor. It's really good, by the way. And it makes you sleep beautifully. Beam is a company founded in America, run by people who share our values, hard work, integrity, and they deliver results. Beam's Dream Powder is a healthy nighttime blend packed with science-backed ingredients shown to improve sleep. It's made with a powerful blend of all natural ingredients, reishi, magnesium, L-theanine, apigenin, and melatonin. So if you've been waiting for the right time to try Dream, this is it. Go to shopbeam.com/Newsmax. That's shopbeam.com/Newsmax. Take advantage of my exclusive offer for up to 40% off. So with my discount code Newsmax, you can get their best-selling Dream Powder for just $39. That's $1.25 per night. So go to shopbeam.com/Newsmax today. That's shopbeam.com/Newsmax today.
With talent on loan from God.
have my brain tied behind my back, to be fair.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we'll miss you oh so much.
You know, I'm the mayor of Realville here.
You cut down liberals like a knife, Rush.
El Rushball.
Forever you'll be number one.
I am Rush Limbaugh, household name.
America needed a hero
in all four corners of the world.
And then you came to our rescue.
The Limbaugh Institute for Advanced Conservative Studies.
Competition, you had zero. How could so much talent be inside of you?
And don't doubt it.
You were the sunshine of our life, Rush. That's why we listened every day.
That's it. It's not much more complicated than that.
You helped us get through all the strife, Rush. No one will ever take your place, because Rush was the sunshine of our life, of our life, of our life.
Meeting and surpassing all audience expectations every day behind this, the Golden EIB microphone.
Law enforcement isn't to prevent crime. Law enforcement solves crime, not necessarily prevent them from happening.
Buffoon. Jasmine, she is a buffoon. District no longer exists. Out of the Congress real soon. I'll be glad when she's gone from D.C. No Jasmine, it will be pure bliss. I know that this may not sound PC. That mouth on her I will not miss. Buffoon. Jasmine is a total fake. Her ghetto accent's not real. How much more can we take? Buffoon. She was drawn out of her seat. Will be in Congress no longer. Her leaving will be a treat.
This is righteous anger because this is not okay. It's not healthy. This is a mind virus. I don't care what box you're in, but just know that your words are very powerful and we are human. My team are not machines and they're not robots. They are human. We have more death threats on our team and our side than I have ever seen. I have kidnapping threats. I have, you name it, we have it. And my poor team is exhausted. And every time they bring this back up, what are we supposed to do? Relive that trauma all over again? They watched my husband get murdered. I have no idea how I would have reacted if I was there that day. And thank the good Lord that I did not have to see that happen. But my team, they are rocked to the core. So why every single day do they have to be dragged through the mud, analyzed, hyper-analyzed? If you want to find and pick me apart, go right ahead. I do not care. I don't. This was happening before Charlie was murdered. Both of us have been through the ringer of people will call you whatever they want to call you.
That's Erica Kirk yesterday, and her husband was murdered just 3 months ago. That she's able to say anything and be able to speak at all is remarkable. That she is as resilient and powerful as she is even more remarkable. And what is really disgusting is that so many people, we've descended to such a level that there were people, particularly on college campi, with professors and whatnot, celebrating the murder of a young man, 31 years old, who had created a revival on college campuses for not only God, but also conservative politics, common sense, drawing crowds that nobody had ever seen, and that's why he was the biggest threat to academia and the left. Unbelievable. Emily Sturge, Campus Reform, joins us on the Newsmax Hotline. Emily, how are you today?
It is great to be with you. I'm doing better now that I get to join the show.
Well, it's always a pleasure to have you on. Did you see any of the interviews yesterday with Erica Kirk? I don't generally watch a lot of them. I find it painful to see her go through this, but I think she's reached a point that she's done. I'm going to tell you something right now, Emily. I'm done with this bull crap. I'm done with this bull crap. The left. If I get confronted, I live in a very liberal bastion enclave in Northern Virginia. And I give it right to the left when they call me out on anything, and they collapse immediately. They have no arguments, and it's time we started fighting back.
You know, Erica, every interview that she's done this week, or even immediately after Charlie's death, I mean, she's been go this whole entire time.
Unreal.
It's been three whole months.
I know.
She has been so resilient. She has stood her ground, and it's really a masterclass in how to shut down rumors and how to handle these situations.
Unreal. Go ahead.
I got to give credit to students on campuses, because even as professors have made vile, disgusting comments saying Charlie Kirk deserved it. I had one story where I covered a professor talking about Charlie Kirk's assassination. She said white men are dangerous animals. Those are disgusting comments that came out of the higher education system, and yet conservative students are still fighting on campus. Erica is still fighting too.
And it's growing, actually. And I said there was going to be a worldwide movement toward freedom. And you add faith to that, because what Charlie Kirk did with regard to faith will resonate and is resonating worldwide. And it is a gigantic movement, and now you've got a combination of Donald Trump and what he is doing, Trump populism, and Charlie Kirk's faith. It is a tsunami that the world cannot ignore, and the United States can't ignore. I really believe that we're just beginning to see how great things are going to be. I wanted to talk to you about a number of things. You sent this article. MSU Denver Writing Center calls standard American English a tool of white supremacy. This is a way that they dumb down, particularly of people of color, keep them ignorant, keep them uneducated, keep them angry and dependent. Is that what you would take from this?
I mean, absolutely. First off, this is the starting point here is universities erasing truth in our classrooms.
Yes.
This goes right back to the same exact ideology that's used to deny biological facts, the fact that a man is a man or a woman is a woman. Those facts don't exist in our classrooms. But then also, when I talk about this story, I immediately think about this lowering of standards and
yes.
this idea of equity replacing academic rigor, and how, I mean, in this story, grammar is suddenly being labeled racist. In fact, I think that it's racist to say that some students can't handle academic rigor based on their skin color. This is the opposite of what our education system needs to be doing.
Well, it's the infantilization. It's the infantilization of the black population. The Democrat Party does this with a lot of different groups. You infantilize them. You make them seem like they can't achieve anything because the world is against them. This is communism and socialism. You punish the achievers and you let the others wallow in their misery and act like they're actually victims.
Right, and it's not fair to students. It's not fair to their futures. It's not serving them. And these students are going to graduate, and if they can't communicate, they're unemployable. I mean, Generation Z is graduating into a pretty tough labor market, and it feels like for a lot of young people that nobody will hire them. And then we see universities pushing policies like this that make students less prepared for the job market. I mean, employers need applicants, this shouldn't be controversial, who can read and write clearly, who can follow instructions, who can communicate professionally. That's That's not discrimination. That's something that's a basic requirement for functioning in the workplace and society. And our colleges are doing the opposite. They are not preparing students.
Well, what they're doing is they're creating a dependent class. They graduate with a worthless degree. They work at Starbucks, and then people like Zohran Mandami boycott Starbucks because they want Starbucks to pay a barista who can be trained in a day $30, $40, $50 an hour. But they will vote Democrat. They will vote Democrat.
You're exactly right, and that's why so many Americans are questioning the value of a degree right now.
Yes,
I just reported for the Leadership Institute's campus reform, the number is now 63% of Americans say a college degree is no longer worth the cost.
I love it. And you know what? This is great. Isn't this good? This is really good. This is the comeuppance we've been waiting for a very long time. You got a combination of Donald Trump going after universities, pulling their funding for anti-Semitism, etc. And you've got people beginning to realize that higher education has become a cabal of leftists who just brainwash kids. They have worthless degrees. They graduate. They hate their country and they hate their families. I love the fact this is collapsing.
I do too, and so many students graduate with just enormous amounts of debt.
Yep.
But a trend that I've been seeing is more and more students, I mean, it's not just me saying this, I mean, the statistics will tell you, more and more students are packing their bags and heading down south to the southeastern schools because tuition is so much cheaper down there. And yet, some of those schools still find a way to balance both academics and affordability. It's a win for parents. It's a win for students. It's those schools, the Ivies, for example, quote-unquote elite universities, where it's $70,000 a year tuition. That's not worth it at this point.
No.
Because you go to that school, everything is so politicized. There's pro-Hamas faculty groups that your professors are a part of. Then you walk out into the middle of campus and there's a protest going on. The classroom is so politicized.
Yeah.
Students don't want that experience anymore. So
Well,
students are packing their bags and they're going down south.
And they're also realizing that there is a great deal of joy in being able to make things and build things and being an artisan and whatnot. You don't need to, graduate with a degree and sit in a cubicle all day. There's a school in Kansas where I moved from Kansas, and they are specializing in the customization of classic cars. That's something you can do the rest of your life. You can't be replaced by AI or a robot. It is remarkable. Emily Surge, can you hold on to the next break? There's a couple of other articles I want to talk about. The more infantilization of college students, Care Bears, Play-Doh, and PJ parties, and 38% of Stanford students saying they're disabled. And what that's all about on the other side of the break, if you can hang on.
Let's do it.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show.
how are you getting that money, the $700 million to make the buses free, into the MTA if she's not for raising taxes?
You know, I think that the two clearest ways to raise that money is through the raising of the state's corporate tax to match that of New Jersey. I think that a lot of this is still a case to be made, whether it's the corporate tax or that's the personal income tax on those who make more than $1 million a year or more. I think that these are the clearest ways. I've also said that if there are other ways to raise this funding, the most important fact is that we fund it, not the question of how we do it, but that we do it.
Yeah, we don't know how we're going to do the funding for all of the things that Zohran Mamdani promised New York, but it's important that we do it. That's brilliant, isn't it, Emily Sturge?
It's not very brilliant, but it doesn't shock me because these are the ideas coming out of our college.
I know.
We're doing this all the time.
I know. It is. It's remarkable. You know, I just saw this piece. Gen Z is burning out at work more than any other generation. You know what? Boo friggity who. That's what I have to say to Gen Z. And you know, the reason why is because we're infantilizing Gen Z. We're doing stupid crap. We are, you know, we've got professors at universities who act like mother hens. You forwarded this piece. Care Bears, Play-Doh, PJ Party. Colleges help students cope with exams. Dear God, grow a pair. Get your ass in there and take your test for God's sake.
Infantilization is the key word
in
this story. And look, it's exam season right now. Students are sitting down for their finals, and universities are choosing to coddle those students by giving them childish activities. You wouldn't believe it. I'll give some examples. Indiana University is giving students Care Bears and hosted a PJ party. Everett Community College is giving students Play-Doh. And engineering students at the University of Illinois Chicago, they're making friendship bracelets and playing with slime. This sounds like a kindergarten birthday party.
This is just, I don't even know what it is. It's bordering on fetishism. I swear to God, it's bizarre that adults would do this to students. I don't know what it is, Emily. I don't know what this is. This is just bizarre to treat adults like this.
The blame here is on the higher education system. I don't think the blame isn't just on Generation Z.
No.
Look at my generation.
Yeah.
My generation is leading in military recruitment boom.
Yes.
Okay, we have 18-year-olds who are lining up to serve in our military.
Yes.
For the first time in years, all of our military branches just met their recruiting goals because of Generation Z. This generation swung to the right in the November election. We talk about really positive statistics of Gen Zers shifting toward Christianity, Catholicism, conservatism.
Yes.
This is an institutional problem in our higher education system.
And these are Gen Z liberals. And these are Gen Z liberals. You know, they're the ones who are, you know, have the gauged ears and decide they want to be the opposite sex, particularly Gen Z young women, because they're more susceptible to social contagion. Gen Z, and I said this, I said the whole thing, they tried to indoctrinate Gen Z, tell them the masculinity was toxic, that if you want to be happy as a girl, you got to become a boy, and then they put you through 2 years of hell, 3 years of hell with COVID. And you know what happened? It brought them together. You separated them, but it brought them together and made them realize how important human contact is. How important you couldn't be with your friends for 2 years. It taught them that they could be closer to. And you know what the number one media for Gen Z is? It's not video games. It's listening. It's spoken word, for God's sake. They're listening more to other people than your grandparents did when there was just a radio in the living room. That's how they backfired. Human connection. That's what podcasts are all about. They need to hear other people. They need to be around other people. So for a good share of Gen Z, it frickin' backfired, and that's where the hope is, Emily Sturge.
I love it, and that's the truth. And that's why Charlie Kirk was so successful with the younger generations, is because he actually took the time to talk and sit there and listen. Those campus events were hours and hours long. People were outside all day.
Yes.
Lined up to hear him speak. Joe Rogan's podcast. Hours long. Generation Z is craving that authenticity and that relatable conversation, and it always goes back to COVID.
No flashbang grenade, or not grenades, but no flashy bands and whatnot. Just hearing people talk. It's so amazing. My son listens to podcasts all freaking day. Unfortunately, doesn't listen to mine because he was brainwashed in college and hates my politics. But at least we're talking.
Oh, well, you know what? It's the truth. It's an entire generation tuning in to podcasts, to TikTok, to social media. And you know what? If you go on TikTok, it's a lot of clips from longer form podcasts. Gen Z is just hungry for those conversations.
It's really, I think that's where the hope lies. And you know, Charlie Kirk's assassination really, that's another thing that really backfired on the left. You know, I have some friends who are conservative, and they're part of this art collective in where I live, and the rest of the artists are violently left a lot of the times. And the conservatives have to speak in hushed tones. And I said, nonsense about that. But but they're never going to give up. And they're gaining strength, and they're beginning to turn things around. The left has been able to run roughshod, and I think Generation Z is going to be the generation that turns this around. And I feel very good things are coming. I think next year is going to be remarkable, Emily, not only for the economy, but for freedom. You got the 250th anniversary of America. You've got a lot of these leftist America haters. That's dying. There was a football game a couple weeks ago. A black couple sang the national anthem. It was one of the greatest national anthems ever, and there were black players and white players crying, weeping on the sidelines with pride for America. I think the future is very bright, Emily.
I do too, and I'm about to leave this phone call, this radio call, weeping because I love this country so much.
Amen, sister.
I think 2025 was remarkable on the cultural front. We saw DEI removed from so many aspects of society, our education system, corporate America. We saw some of the culture wars, men taken out of women's sports and locker rooms. And as we look to 2026, you're right. We're going to see so much success on the economic front. I'm so excited to see how this president can help deliver the American dream to young people. That's why they voted for him, and 100%. I have full confidence.
All right, listen, we got to run, but I like to say, Emily, and I said last year, which was one of the most difficult years we've ever experienced with the persecution of Donald Trump, I said we have to overwhelm the left with joy and patriotism, add faith to that, and we've got a winning message. God bless you and yours. Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. I look forward to talking to you in the new year, Emily Sturge.
Merry Christmas, and thank you so much.
All right, let's take a break and come back. This is The Rob Carson Show. Hello. That was fun. She's awesome. Let's see what we got here. Turn down this earphones. Vicki Stevens. What are you guys talking about over here? You guys got so much going on. Powerful. Yes, there is hope. Of course there's hope, but more than hope, hope is nothing. Hope doesn't mean anything. Hope doesn't mean anything. You can hope all the one. I can hope I could lose 20 pounds tomorrow. It ain't going to happen. Hope is a nice thing to have. But you have to have a goal, and you have to know you can do it. You have to know you can do it. When I moved here, 1 year of torture went into me saying, I'm going to move here and leave my family and come here. Because my family had left me. My wife had left me. But, hope is good, but actions have to result. And you've got to make it happen. There you go. There you go. Adrian John, what's going on? Duckman, what is going on? Good to see you guys watching today. America Marcy, are you enjoying the radio program? I hope you are. Blockbuster 2K, yo, what up? Who's on some Rubbly Roo? Dookie Bear, thank you for all you do. God bless you. You're so freaking cool. You, my friends there, Tom K, you guys are so wonderful. Round a Pony. You guys are the absolute best. All right, got to wrap things up. Here we go.
CBM.
Hi, this is Dave.
Oh, well, I got a second.
Every Saturday morning from 8 to 10 a.m., the show is
Hold on 1 second.
You want to know. Expert information.
What am I going to talk about here? Harvey Dillon, no. Herschel, no. Pencil. Oh, yeah, there we go. I'll do that. I'll do that. I'll do some comedy. Does comedy sound good? I think comedy sounds good. Comedy sounds good. Rob is right. Hope is crap. Yeah, like Barack Obama said, hope and change, hope and change. And I remember Rush saying, hope doesn't mean D word. Here we go.
3 minutes here.
Backdoor Santa, baby. Come on.
Call me Backdoor Santa. I make my runs about the break of day.
Oh, God, I love music. I love music. My Spotify account, got the report on my Spotify account, and it said that I listened to 16,000 hours of music last year. More than 1,000 hours a month. I just think it's so important. It's so glorious. Maybe it was 14,000. There's a hell of a lot of music. I listen to a lot of music. Music is a gift from God. Adam Schiff was on a podcast this week, and he's still not admitting he was absolutely wrong, totally corrupt about Russia collusion. Listen to this awful, evil little man.
He talks a lot.
I'm sorry. I mean Pez dispenser.
About Russia, hoax. Did you get anything wrong about that?
No, I don't think we got anything wrong.
You got everything wrong.
I do think that at the end of the investigation, Mueller concluded, and I said, throughout the investigation.
Robert Mueller, yeah.
Robert Mueller, I said throughout the investigation this was very possible.
No, you're a liar. Here's what you said.
That he could not prove the crime of conspiracy beyond a reasonable doubt.
The American people need to know whether the Russians still have something they can hold over the president's head. I could certainly say with confidence that there is significant evidence of collusion between the campaign and Russia.
There wasn't any.
Adam Schiff's scared, and he ought to be inside of a cell. He's gonna see
Jim Gossett.
Pencil Neck is going to jail.
Human Pez dispenser.
Lied on his mortgage not one time but twice. Get a good lawyer, that's my advice. Pencil Neck is going to jail.
Please, Santa, send him to jail for me.
Leak classified information to the New York Times.
Tim Walsh, too, by the way.
Schiff will be prosecuted.
Ilhan Omar.
For his so many crimes.
Send them all to jail.
His Senate seat will be taken away. Adam Schiff, he's gonna pay. Pencil Neck is headed
to jail. Come on.
Watch Adam sweat. A lengthy sentence he'll get.
Please.
Pencil Neck, he's headed to jail.
There you go. I think it's a great way to end the show. Don't you? Thank you guys for watching and listening today. God bless you and yours. I'm very optimistic about 2026. And I'm optimistic about tomorrow because it's Friday. God bless you and yours. America has founded Donald Trump as he's making America greater. And until tomorrow.
This is the right choice.
Don't catch it stupid. All right, dude. See ya.
Information. Truth is freedom. Is Newsmax. It's real news for real people.